This episode of the Joe Rogan Experience podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. Squarespace is a platform that allows a dummy like you or me to make their own professional website. Squarespace has beautiful designs for you to start with and all the style options you need to create a unique website for you or your business. It's simple drag and drop interface. It's just like if you can, attach some pictures to an email, seriously, you can make a website on Squarespace. It's super easy to do. They also offer 24/7 support. They also have a new logo creator where you can create a clean and simple logo design for yourself, for your business, for anything you're planning on doing. They have a very simple and easy e-commerce setup. Very easy to start selling shit online with Squarespace. It's everything that everyone has always wanted in like the ease of use in creating a website, but literally never existed before. I hate people that correct you when you use the term literally. Fuck you. They've literally now has that term is in the dictionary. Like it's not just figuratively. Like literally, if you look up, the definition of literally has changed in the actual fucking dictionary. So when people correct you and say, actually, it's not literally, you go, actually, you need to update your fucking dictionary, bitch, because we won. Okay? Bad grammar won. Squarespace. Go to squarespace.com. Get yourself your own goddamn awesome motherfucking website. And for a free trial and 10% off your first purchase, go to squarespace.com. and enter the code Joe. That's a free trial and 10% off your first purchase. Squarespace is the shit. Squarespace. I didn't even get the space out right. Seriously, a really good way to make websites. And you don't need to hire anybody anymore. That day is over.
Look at this awesome logo I made for you, Joe.
Boom. Eat dick yo. And look at that. Look how easy he did that. How long did that take you to do?
Like 1 second?
Exactly. That's my new logo. It's an elk. And it says "Eat Dick, Yo." I'm not sure about the bottom part, but everything else, I'm on board, son. We're also brought to you by Onnit.com. That's ONNIT. If you have never been to Onnit before, Onnit is a human optimization website. We basically sell shit that makes your body and your brain work better, whether it's strength and conditioning equipment like battle ropes and kettlebells, weight vests, ab wheels, medicine balls, things along those lines, things for functional strength, or whether it's foods like the new Warrior bar that we just started selling. It's by the same folks that made the Tonka bar, and what it is an ancient Native American recipe for a buffalo jerky bar that is very healthy. Like it has no antibiotics, no hormones, gluten-free, no nitrates, no artificial flavors, no artificial colors, and you get 14 grams of protein in every serving, 4 grams of fat in every serving. There's nothing bad in it. Like there's no nitrates, no soy, no MSG.
Isn't nitrate what makes your dick hard though?
I think that's nitric oxide, son. You should not be a chemist.
I take a drug called Joe Rogan.
That's what gets your dick hard? Yeah. Beautiful.
I take that with my Progain and my other stuff to keep my hair in.
Da, da, da. Anyway, Onnit.com. Use the code word Rogan and you'll save 10% off any and all supplements. The controversial supplements like Shroom Tech Sport, New Mood. What these are essentially, if you go to any of those various items, any of the various things that we sell, there's a lot of science behind all of the stuff. There's a research button. You click on it. You can find all the research that's behind on its supplements, whether it's Alpha Brain, which we've actually run our own clinical trial results, and those are also posted online. It was a double-blind placebo trial on the efficacy of Alpha Brain, and it got positive results. And we're in the middle of a second trial now, which is much larger and much more extensive. I should also point out that the trial, the positive results were exactly half of the dose that I take. It's 2 pills. I take 4 of these bitches.
You're crazy.
Because I'm a renegade. I can't be fucked with.
Is this girthier trial going to be a bigger dose?
No, it's not. No, the 2-pill dose is the recommended dose.
What does it do to help your thinking, your memory?
It helps your memory. It helps clinically proven so far.
That's the weird thing about memory, though. I never know where the mind's going because I've forgotten the things that I can't remember.
That's true.
I think I remember everything, but obviously I don't know what I've forgotten.
It's whether or not you're trying to pull it up. I'll give you some Alpha Brain. You'll run your own Jefferies clinical trial.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, Onnit.com. Use the code word Rogan. Save 10%. ONNIT. Code word Rogan. If you don't know how to spell my name, go fuck yourself. Jim Jefferies is here. Why fuck around and play games when we could just get to the podcast?
Joe Rogan Podcast, check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
That's Nick Diaz.
Yeah.
So that never leaves. That will stay on. You had a question about Elvis. Because
These are all mugshots you've got on your wall here.
Yeah.
And you've got an Elvis mugshot there. I wear a T-shirt often with the Sinatra mugshot.
I got that one. I
That's-
have it framed in my house.
That's a good one. What was he
Yeah.
done for there?
It was what is the word that
Adultery.
they use? No, it wasn't adultery. It was so what?
He was shagging a guy's wife, right?
Yes, it was shagging a guy's wife, but the word that they use, seduction. That's
Oh.
the word that it says on the actual mug sheet.
That's what I hate. That photo of Sinatra, that mugshot, he looks better there than I've ever looked in any photo in my life where professionals have taken it and they've taken 1,000 photos and I
Yeah.
still look like shit.
Well, did you notice how little he was?
Yeah.
The mugshot photo, I think it says 125 pounds.
Yeah.
It's
He
either
was,
125 or
he
135.
was only a slight fella.
Yeah.
But also, we even talk about Elvis. We go, when Elvis was at the end, he was fat. Elvis was fat. He was like
Yeah.
220 pounds. I'm like sitting at a cruisy 211 at the moment. You know what I mean? I go down up to about 215. I go down to about 195, and I go through that spectrum my whole life, right? But Elvis was, by today's standards, just he was all right. Yeah. See, that's what I look like now. That's at the
Wow.
very end. He was anywhere between 220 and 230. But what was the
That's only
mugshot for?
220 or 230?
Well, he was probably shorter than me. I'm 6'1", so I get a little bit of leeway. He's probably 5'10", Elvis.
Yeah. How tall was Elvis? God damn, he got fat.
Yeah, but he was dead like a year later.
Yeah, he was on his way out. He died on my sister's birthday. I'll never forget.
Really? Mm-hmm. He died the year I was born. I always liked the fact that I was alive when John Lennon and Elvis Presley were alive.
Apparently, the picture was taken just for fun.
Oh, the mugshot. So he never went to prison for anything.
No, Elvis was a law enforcement nut, and the picture was taken just for fun. That's according to one site on the internet.
Because that could have been when he went to visit the FBI and visited Nixon and all that type of stuff, because he was there. He was there. He visited Nixon for the war against drugs.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Against the Beatles, man. These Beatles,
Yeah.
they're all doing drugs, and we gotta stop that.
We're going to start it.
We gotta stop it, man. He was apparently arrested in the 1950s for speeding,
Yeah, that's
but that was before he made it. Well, when did he make it?
about 1954, I
54?
reckon, would have been around that era. Sun Records and all that shit.
Well, that would be him then. That would be like right as he made it, he was speeding.
yeah, but he's
like
only
right
in
when
his
he was
early 20s.
taking
Like
off.
18-year-old speeding in their car. We all got those. I remember the first time I got caught speeding, I was 16, and I just didn't have the money, so I thought if I broke down in tears, the cop would... I said, "Oh my god, I don't have the money." I
Did it
thought
work?
no, of course he didn't. he just fucking fired me. And the worst thing is, my brother is a cop, and he reported it to my brother, and then my brother teased me in the near future. My brother used to do awful things as a cop. My brother's named Danny Nugent. I don't think that's a bad to say. He's a member of the Riot Squad now, and I was driving home at 17, which is still not the legal age to drink in Australia. And I'm driving home, and I had 2 beers. Now, I would have been under the limit, but still I'm not even allowed to have 2 beers in me because I'm 17, right?
Right.
I get pulled up, I get breathalyzed. The guy goes, "Please breathe in the tube." And I said, my brother was a sergeant at that stage. And I was like, you know Danny Nugent? You know Danny Nugent? Does, like this, right? And he goes, "No, I never heard of him," right? So he goes up to his vehicle. He's there for like 15 minutes. I'm just sitting in the car, just panicking now. And he comes back out, and he goes, "Step out of the vehicle." "Oh, is there a problem? Anything of it?" "Just step out of the vehicle right now." So I step out. He cuffs me and smacks me onto the bonnet of the car, right? And I start, "Oh, Jesus Christ, oh, fuck, fuck," like this, right? And then I hear my brother laughing on the radio. Like, he's actually gone back to his car, radioed the station, talked to my brother, and he said, "Scare the shit out of him." You know what I mean? and because it's cops, and they're going, "Oh, we're just joking with you." Like, I'm wiping tears away from my eyes, like, "Good joke, guys. Well done. Thanks for that." But, I still had one more line of defense, and it's Mum. Went and told Mum on him.
Well, how'd that go? What does your mom do when?
Well, my mum was still angry because I shouldn't have been drinking to begin with, and blah blah blah. I still got in trouble for that. But yeah, now he's in the SWAT team, so he's like the guy who fucking wears the helmets and swings in with a machine gun type of thing.
Jesus Christ!
And the thing is, for the longest time, my parents were so like, "Oh, your brother's the cop." It was like the most upstanding job you could have in our family. And so my brother became a weapons trainer before he was in the SWAT team, so he would learn different holds and restraints and stuff like that. There was many a Christmas where I'd stand there, and then my brother would go, "Yeah, we've been traveling over to America. We've learned some new holds from the American cops, and we learnt one where we can basically restrain the person until their whole shoulder goes numb and they can't like this." And then my mum goes, "Do it on Jim." No, I don't want you to fucking do it. Why are you doing this to me? Right? Then he comes up and grabs, and I go, "Don't touch me." He goes, "See how he's resisting, Mum? See how he's resisting?" Always end with me with my fucking head in a Chevy shag pile, just crying again.
Your fucking mom, man. Your mom sold you down the river? I would think that mom's the last thing they would want to see is one son torturing the other son.
No. Because my father wasn't much of a physical disciplinarian, my mother was very keen on using my eldest brother as the muscle when we got too big.
How old's your oldest brother?
My oldest brother's 7 years older than me.
Oh, that's a big gap.
And then I've got another brother that's 5 years older than me.
Oh, Jesus. That's
And-
why you're funny.
And
You took a lot of heat.
I was meant to be a girl because my mum desperately wanted to have a baby girl, so she gave it one more go. And then when I didn't come out a baby girl, she didn't unwrap the blanket for the first 4 days. For the first month, she never unwrapped the blanket because she didn't want to see my genitalia, and she didn't hold me for the first 4 days.
Whoa.
She went into so much depression over having another boy. And then she got really passionate about collecting porcelain dolls. So there was 4 men living in a house, in this house that was just filled with fucking creepy dolls. Like, remember in the old days when you could put something on top of your TV? That was sort of a joy. Like, you'd go-karting, you'd beat your brother, and you had the first trophy. So for a week, you'd put that on top of the TV because he'd constantly be looking at it and niggle the shit out of him. Those days are gone, right? But my mother would always have like a different porcelain doll, or maybe like a porcelain clown juggling one of those little statuettes.
Oh,
Something very upsetting would always be looking at you whilst you were trying to enjoy a Betamax version of Star Wars.
When did you find out about the not being held?
She told me. She tells me all the time that she always wanted to have a girl.
So
she didn't
told
even
you.
have a boy's name ready to go.
Oh, my God.
Like, she was just, and she didn't want to have the ultrasound. She didn't want to know. It wasn't going to
What the fuck is wrong with people when it comes to wanting the gender so badly that they get upset?
And the thing is, my mum, it's not like she's a super effeminate woman where she would have been a good, I'm not a good looking guy, but my parents would have made her an horrendous looking woman. Like, it would have been just a chinless, pale thing, just with thin, wispy hair. It wouldn't have been a good looking girl. A boy is the best thing they could have hoped for with the fucking piss that's been pissed into my gene pool already. From the different sides. I got a great story about...
But women don't see that, man.
I've got a... Yeah, of course they don't.
If you're a woman and you're surrounded by men, I think it would be really frustrating.
My mother's 300 pounds and she thought she... I don't know whether the intention was to make a hot chick. I don't know if that was what... she just wanted to make a girl. But I got a story that I don't want to tell because in front of my girlfriend because it will upset her because it will make my life a bit harder. And I don't want to tell it on any Tonight shows or anything. So I'll tell her here. But I just did a zombie movie in Australia, which isn't anything to do with the story, but I was in Australia. And so I'm in Australia. My parents drive to Canberra where we're at on the weekend to spend a day with me. And it's fair enough. I haven't seen my parents in 6 months or something. So I'm spending time with my mum and dad. Now, back in the early 90s, my father was getting closer to retirement. And then he found a credit card bill because my mother took care of the money. Found out that she'd run up $90,000 worth of bills, which meant my dad had to work an extra sort of 8 years past retirement to pay these all off, and she'd kept it all secret, right? So now my parents have got to retirement, they own the house, and they just get a pension of like, Australian government gives each person like $300 a week pension, which is like $260 American, right? So my parents live off that, but my father takes care of all the money. He pays all the bills and he balances books because my mum can't be trusted when it comes to shopping. And so I'm talking to my parents, and my mum goes, all I want is my half of the money, his half of the money, and then he can have his half of the money. We'll split the bills, and then I can do what I want with my money. But instead, I'm given an allowance because I'm not responsible enough with money. I said, Mum, you can't take care of the money, Mum. You can't, because you'll fuck it up. You'll go online. You've found internet shopping now. You'll fuck it up. You'll lose everything. Get more credit cards. It'll be terrible. And she goes, "Oh, I'm not the problem with money anymore. Your father's the one that spends all the money." Now, we're in a public bar, by the way. There's many people sitting around us. It's a very public, open area. Your father's the one who spends all the money now. And then she points at my dad and goes, Tell him what you spend your money on." And I've already clicked what this might be. And I've gone, "Oh, no, look, I don't want to know. I don't want to know." And then my mother goes, "Your father gets prostitutes." Right? And I've gone, "Oh, God, just shut up, both of you, please, for fuck's sake."
God.
And she's gone, "Yep. Every Wednesday, your father, before he goes to play lawn bowls, goes off and gets himself a prostitute." And then my dad went, "Not every Wednesday." He didn't even try to deny it. It was just not every Wednesday. It makes him sound like at least 3 out of 4 Wednesdays.
He takes a week off every now and again.
Yeah, like it costs him in Australian money for a very cheap prostitute. It's legal in Australia in a brothel, maybe $100 for a pretty low end sort of girl, or a rub and tug parlor.
So he went to a place to get it done. He didn't.
No.
get
It's not like
massage.
here where you got to go to a hotel and all that type of stuff. There's just brothels, and they're very legal, and they're very well signposted and stuff. It's not such a big deal in Australia. It's actually makes it a bit safer, if anything, because the girls have to get tested. They have to bring their results in all the time, and they're paying
It
taxes.
definitely makes it safer. It's like
Yeah.
everything else. As soon as the government says it can't be illegal when it's something that people really enjoy doing,
Lowers
doesn't work.
divorce substantially.
of course it does. I'm sure it does.
Yeah, because like I don't begrudge my dad for doing this. I just don't want to hear about it. They're in their 70s. My mum's morbidly obese. My dad's still quite fit. Of course, he wants to get his end away sometimes.
His end away. There's a book called Sex at Dawn by this guy, Dr. Chris Ryan. I do a podcast with him once a month, and he basically goes over in great detail like what is the root cause of the reason why men want to breed with more than one woman? Why is marriage do so poorly? Why do so many people want to stray? It's genetic. It's 100% genetic. If you could squash that with robot fuck dolls or prostitution that's legal, like whatever you have that's non-relationship based, you're going somewhere
or ruining anyone else's life.
You're just getting some sex. That's it. Yeah. Only sex. What are prostitutes over in Australia? Are they thought of differently than prostitutes here? Like, is it not that big of a deal?
It's not as big of a deal. They are thought of. They're not like given a load of respect or anything. It's not like
heroes.
Like in Germany and Holland and stuff. It's really not a big deal, you know. But no, it's still kept fairly. You know, the clubs are called things like the big one in Melbourne's called the Daily Planet, and it looks like the front of the Daily Planet from Superman with the big globe. And
That's
everything
awesome.
Like that, you know,
that's in Melbourne.
That's in Melbourne. That's the brothel I went to when I took my friend with muscular dystrophy to the brothel, which is what my TV show Legit, which is on Wednesdays on FXX at 10 p.m. We need ratings, but that was the whole basis of my TV show, was taking a disabled guy to a brothel, yeah.
Wow.
This season, incidentally, talking about my dad, my father will be played by George Lazenby, who was James Bond for one movie.
George Lazenby. Why do I know that name?
He was James Bond.
No, that's not why I know it. It's actually, there's a Paul Lazenby who's a mixed martial arts commentator for Bodog Fights.
Old George isn't related to anything like that.
Yeah, Lazenby is what got me. I was like, why do I know that name?
George did one James Bond film, was booked to do 7, and then he told him to fuck off after Sean Connery because he went, this franchise isn't going to go on for too long. Because it was 1970. He was like, everyone wants long hair and beards. No one wants to look like this fucking idiot from a bank. And he told him to fuck off, and he never was really in a movie again.
You can't tell him to fuck off when they ask you to be James Bond.
He was a male model, never acted before.
Really?
He just went straight into it. He's got some fucking stories, man.
That's him?
No. If you
pull up a picture of the guy.
If you pull
George
up
Lazenby.
George
I need to see
Lazenby,
this character.
you'll see like now he's in his mid-70s, but like in his day he was the #1 male model on Earth in like 1969.
The #1 male model on Earth.
And he was from a country town in Australia. There he
Look
is.
at that handsome bastard. He does have beautiful genetics. He's got that 1970 handsome thing going on too.
Yeah.
Pull that back up. That's like, that wouldn't really fly today.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they had poor nutrition. They're eating fucking,
everyone was
cornflakes
sort of
and shit.
shorter. He's like 6'4", and he's sort of, got he has a bit of a bobblehead motion going on and a big dimple in his chin.
Yeah, but like, look at his face. There's almost something about his face. Like, pull that picture up again.
Oh, it's like the good looks in the 80s were different. People like Molly Ringwald wouldn't.
No, pull the same picture up. Go back to that picture. There's there's something about this guy, and I don't know if it's his style of hair, but that's not a guy from today. But you know what I mean? Like in 2014. Okay, how old is he? About 37, 38 years old in this photo.
Oh no! This is no. If he's 70 now, this is 1969 when that film was made.
So
he's probably 24 or something like that.
What?
Yeah, but
how's that possible?
But back in the day, everyone was smoking
Cigarettes,
and drinking, and it was. You all looked a little bit more leathery.
Put that picture back up. Look at it. Like if you saw that photo and said, "Where is this guy from? Like what time is this?" You would say like the 70s. What is that? There's like something about his fucking face. Like that's not a guy that was born after 1920 or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
There's that weird thing that they have. Like he looks like a guy from this, like Burt Reynolds in his prime.
Yeah,
that guy doesn't exist today.
No, we're all slightly changing. There's something in the. I think that women's faces in the 80s were rounder.
Ooh, I think you're right.
Moon faces.
Yeah,
well, they were,
or that was deemed to be a good look, and we now shun the moon-faced woman.
Well, the moon-faced woman.
But the moon-faced woman in the 80s was a thing.
Yeah, is it a weight thing? It's a weight thing, right?
I don't know.
Like you guys know, like that's a real issue for women to get so skinny that they lose like the roundness of their face. Like they want to have like sculpted cheeks.
It's a moon face too.
Yeah, that's
quarter moon.
What is he going to do now that he's retired?
Doing a lot of comedy, apparently. I'm doing a lot of shows at the Comedy and Magic Club because he used to do every Sunday night. He used to try out his monologue. I'm there actually the 30th. I was just there. I'm doing probably like one or so every month. I'll probably do at the Sunday nights because he's on the road now. He's just doing comedy.
Is he a good stand-up? I assume he was.
Let me tell you something. At one point in time, he was thought of, and it's tough to judge because you got to judge it based on the fact that this is 1970 and everything from 1970 doesn't hold up.
Yeah,
like
except
for
George Lazenby.
A few movies, except for him. There's a few movies, but like television shows, for example. Try to watch a television show from the 70s. They're very, very dated. Yeah. So his comedy, it's hard to date it, just like Lenny Bruce. I always concede that he's the most important stand-up ever, but I don't want to watch him. I don't want to listen to him.
I've tried. Good. I sit down and listen to the tapes, and I try to.
It's too alien a time. It's not us. We're too free. What he's saying is just not. But then
you can get like from the 80s, you can still enjoy people. Prior, you can still watch.
Yeah,
Kinnison, you can still watch.
Things changed considerably, though. I think from the 1960s.
I can watch 1970s Cosby.
Yeah, you can still. Yeah. Well, he's a master. He's really a master wordsmith and a master storyteller.
But it's also he was dealing mostly at that stage I got a wife and young kids, and this is how it is, and that stuff always sticks around. If you're a political guy, it always dates very horrible.
Yes, that's so true.
Or if you're talking about society and how this is fucked up and that is fucked up, that doesn't.
It's interesting culturally to go back and listen to some shit where people were complaining about, like Lenny Bruce has some stuff where he's complaining about politicians. It doesn't make you laugh though.
No.
But anyway, Leno, it's hard to say when you look at his stuff now because it just seems so pedestrian. But I think that back in the 1970s, Leno was a motherfucker. The reason I say it is because all the comics say it.
Yeah.
They all
That's
the
what
guys
I've heard as well.
Yeah. All the guys who knew him back then go, he was a bad motherfucker. He was a legit comic. He was really good.
He was the guy in the club that everyone went, he's here.
Yeah.
And came down.
He was a hard worker. But then somewhere along the line, he stopped writing. This is kind of interesting. Like he would go to, he would do shows. And then do the same show the next year. Go back to the same place next year. Verbatim, every joke. From beginning to the end. Yeah. And like the people in Edmonton, I was in Edmonton and they were telling me, like, we went to see him. He did another set and like, play some of this.
I'm originally from the United States. Any United States people here tonight?
So it's funny because he's in America.
Get it?
As Freddie mentioned, I have a slight cold. I have to apologize for that. When I came, I've had this about 2 weeks. Went to the hospital over here, one of the large hospitals in California. I don't want to say the name. Just shows you where healthcare is in this state. This is absolutely true. I went in, man charged me $40, gave me some pills to take. And on the way out as a doc, my throat is still really sore. Do you think I should have my tonsils out? Now, this man is a specialist, and I'm sure one of the best hospitals in California, says to me, well, what do you think? I was watching the local news before.
That's
I came
it?
tonight.
That's it? How dare you? You shut the fuck up, Jay Leno. Everybody who told me he's great, you shut the fuck up too.
Like, I imagine. See, it's from a different area. Imagine if I came into you and before the podcast, I said, Joe, I want your opinion on a bit of material I've just written.
And you ran that by me.
And then I went, and then the guy goes, what do you think?
And then there was Steve Martin. At the
That's
time.
the beginning of a bit. That's what the beginning of a rant. Like, what do I think, motherfucker? Isn't this your job? Then
Yeah.
You
got to go into the next bit.
Then it would be a bit. That would be the bit. It wouldn't be. It was a setup for a bit.
Steve Martin was still funny.
Yeah,
He was brilliant.
And this is from the same year, and I bet you it blows all that away.
Well, he was very different. You know, Steve Martin was one of the most uniquely original, like onstage performance.
I can't believe he brought out
Performances
so
ever.
many recordings.
Yeah.
And not actual video. Like, he's such a visual act.
Yeah,
to
it's
go,
true.
To go, I'm going to have an arrow on my head and put this onto a cassette.
Well, that was what I was going to say about Jay Leno is Jay Leno stopped putting things out. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't do an HBO special, won't do a Showtime special, doesn't do anything. If you notice, like, there's no body of work. There's like one thing he did for Showtime, like in the early 1980s, and I used to have it on a VHS cassette. But after that, nothing. And, you know, when they ask him about it, it's like, well, why would I do that? I give him Showtime. I give him my big, I got my whole act. I got to write a new act. You know, I mean, you give it to them, and this act's going to make me millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like, his attitude, like, his act was like, he's just real old school in that respect. Like, those guys, they thought about, if they did an HBO special, they didn't think, oh, this is just going to get my comedy out to more people. They'll enjoy it. It'll get more people to come see me. No, it was like, I'm going to sell my act, and then I can't do my act, and if I can't do my act, I'm losing all that money that I get doing my act.
I try to do a DVD every sort of 18 months or so, and then
Yeah.
I retire the material as soon as I've done it.
We all do that now, I think. I
Yeah.
think that's the new era. I mean, once the internet came along, I think that's mandatory. You know, George Carlin always did it, and then Louis C.K. started doing it and telling people that he did it, and then you started looking around who are all the people that do it, like Burr does it, you do it. You know, Ari does it. It's one of those things now. I think that kind of everybody does. It's expected.
Yeah, I think I also now I won't do stand up on television for 4 minutes.
Yeah, I won't either. Good for you.
Yeah,
good for fucking you.
Like
man.
I just
Thank
knocked
you.
back doing Fallon for that, and they're like not anything special. Like, but if I can be a guest on a show, like I'm doing Kimmel next week or whatever, that's fine. But I don't want to burn 4 minutes that I could put onto an actual special.
Well, not only that, it's not your act.
Yeah,
It's-
it doesn't. I don't translate well over 4 minutes.
No one does.
And I feel like the Tonight Show culture in America, the late night show culture in America, fucked up a lot of comedians for a very long time because they come over to Europe and they look at all the British acts and go, geez, all your stories are so long-winded and all that type of stuff, where everyone over here seemed to, for a very long time, trying to make a snappy 5 minutes. And that's not where it's at in the long term.
You're totally right. It ruined Boston comedy. There's a whole special, a whole documentary that this guy, Fran Salamita, who was a Boston comic, did about it, called When Stand-Up Stood Out. And it's all about Stephen Wright making it. Stephen Wright getting on, was it Letterman? Did Stephen Wright get on Letterman or Tonight Show?
I think it was Letterman.
Probably.
Whichever one it was, either the Letterman or Tonight Show. The documentary is excellent, but it shows how everybody changed then. They all started doing clean material. They all started trying to get on television. They're like, when am I going to get fucking picked up? What's going on? Well, when's this going to happen to me? This is the documentary.
There was nothing. It was like being on an island, and the only thing there was trying to make the audience laugh.
They took a city by storm, and without even knowing it, ignited the biggest stand-up revolution ever. No vanity. No rules.
Follow me in here.
Hi, girl. How are you?
No regard.
I love that footage.
That was unnecessary.
Take a journey back to a gritty world blown apart by access, success, clashing egos, even death threats, all in the name of stand-up comedy.
Comedy has become a thriving business as club owners fill their rooms to capacity weekend after weekend.
It was a really good time to be doing stand-up.
That was like the beginning of thinking there's a big future in this thing.
Critics called When Stand-Up Stood Out hugely entertaining and hilarious, and have voted it one of the greatest stand-up movies of all time.
Comedians were just like rock stars.
So I quit doing comedy. I'm broke now.
Official selection of the Montreal Comedy Festival and winner of the Telluride Independent Film Festival. A film by Fran Salamita.
It's a great movie, but the point being
Look
that
how young he looked.
amazing, huh? That was when he was pretty revolutionary, man.
He-
When Stephen Wright came along, then nobody was like him before that.
He came to see me at Caroline's, and with his publicist or something like that. And afterwards, you're selling your DVDs and signing and doing photos and stuff in that foyer. And he waited in line with everyone, and he came and bought a DVD and signed. He goes, "I thought you were great," like that, right? And I was like, "Who is this cunt? I know this cunt." But he's just like an old guy in a baseball hat, right? And I went, "Stephen Wright," and he went, "Yeah." Then he walked away, and then I went. He'd been standing next to all these comedy fans, and no one had noticed him.
It's the beard, right?
Yeah, the beard, but it's also the hat. But you wouldn't expect him to queue up. If he went to the front of the line and said hello, people would have noticed him. Because he stood there so incognito and did it. And then I went, fucking hell, everyone, that was Stephen Wright. And then all the people who were waiting to take a photo with me chased after him.
So you sicked them on him.
So no one took a photo with me after that or bought any DVDs.
I was in the middle of having a conversation with Robin Williams at the Improv, and I didn't realize it was Robin Williams until halfway into the conversation. I thought he was just some dude who came to the show and wanted to talk to me after the show, and he was talking to me about the dolphin bit, the eating mushrooms or eating a pot brownie. I went on a boat, and I had this life-changing experience in Hawaii playing with dolphins.
Yeah.
And I'm telling the story on stage, and Robin Williams comes up to me, and he's talking to me about the bit, and we're talking, and I'm like, "Oh, this is just this cool old dude. This is fucking Robin Williams. Holy shit. He's a tiny little fella." But it was a bizarre thing, like in the middle of the conversation. I'm just going, "Oh, thanks, man. Thank you." Whoa.
I have a theory on why actors and some comedians are super short in comparison to the general populace.
Need for attention.
Yeah, it's just, I was at the Fox with the TV show. There's a party they have for Fox, for everything that's Fox related, where every star of every show has to show up. It's in your contract. You have to be there, right? And all the reporters go around and talk to you. So there's people there's famous people, and then there's like Jennifer Lopez walked in, and then all the famous people were like, wow, there's a real famous person, you know. But then I was standing next to Keith Sutherland looked like he was 5'0" to me.
Really?
Yeah, he was.
I always thought he was a big guy.
Because he plays Jack Bauer, you think he's a big guy. And then Martin Freeman was there because he's in now the new Fargo. And he's a itty bitty.
The new Fargo. They have a Fargo TV show now.
Yeah, FX are bringing it out, and it's got Billy Bob Thornton and
really
Martin Freeman. Kate Walsh is in it.
Holy shit! Does it have anything to do with the Coen Brothers?
I don't know if it's got any, but it's been reviewed through the roof. People are saying it's the best thing. It's coming out in like 16 days.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, I fucking love that movie. That's one of my all-time favorite comedies.
Yeah.
Because there's no jokes in the entire fucking thing.
Yeah.
It's just fuck up after, it's a completely character-driven thing. That car salesman, the failure car salesman that fucks everything up. What's that cat's name?
I don't know. I haven't seen the
Bill
movie
something
for
or another.
years.
The guy was in Shameless. The Showtime
that's cool.
show.
The billboard, the poster they got, the bus stops, which is like a knitted fucking rug. It's pretty cool, huh?
What is
April
that guy's?
15th.
What's that guy's name who is on that Shameless show on HBO or on Showtime?
The guy who plays the lead.
Yeah.
He's in Mystery Men as well.
Yeah. What's that?
It's the shoveler.
Yeah, Bill Macy. Yeah, right? William H. Macy? Yeah.
William H. Macy.
He's a very nice guy. I met that guy when I was on news radio. He's super friendly. Very, very friendly guy.
Is he short, though?
I'm short, so it's hard to tell. Everybody seems giant to me.
Everything in this world is just like Seinfeld used to have bit. Everything is just people trying to pick up chicks. Because that's why you get into anything. Like not in the long term, but in your younger years, in your teens, it's just about how can I meet women? How can I meet women? So if you're at school and you're a good-looking guy, then that's your way of meeting women. If you're just a really good-looking guy. And if you're really good at sport, that's your way. But if you're short, you better be fucking funny. Or if you're not good-looking, you better be funny. Or if you're not funny and all those things, then you better learn how to do a Shakespearean monologue in fucking drama class. You
better have something.
You better have something little
that makes you stand
little
out.
thing that's different from everybody else. So I think that's why all the actors, I don't think, because all the actresses are tall.
Some of them are. There's a lot of short actresses.
It's like Nicole Kidman. She marries Tom Cruise. He's an itty bitty fella.
He's not as itty bitty as everybody says. It's sort of like the Napoleon thing.
Her new husband's really small.
Well, Napoleon wasn't really a short guy.
I didn't know that. It was
British propaganda.
Oh,
Napoleon was actually taller than the average person at the time.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it wasn't tall compared to today. He's like 5'6".
Yeah.
But back then, everybody was they were really tiny.
Right. So they were saying he's 4'11"
yeah,
or something.
but Tom Cruise, apparently, I've talked to people, I've met Sylvester Stallone. He's not that small. Everybody would say Sylvester Stallone's only 5'6". He played Rocky in the movies. He was a heavyweight. He's not 5'6". I met the guy. He's at least 5'10", maybe taller.
Right.
Maybe he was wearing some shit in his shoes. I don't know. But I'm 5'8". I don't wear any shit in my shoes, and I'm standing like right next to the guy, and he's taller than me.
I met Ben Kingsley, and he's like the opposite. They try to make him look smaller in film. He was a reasonable sized guy, but whenever you see him in film, they try to make him look like a little tiny menacing bloke.
Well, when Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise did that vampire movie together, Tom Cruise walked on like a platform around him, so they were like similar heights.
Yeah.
So like everywhere they walked when they were doing the thing, like Brad Pitt is essentially walking in a ditch. That may or may not be true. I wasn't there when it was filming.
No, I
might
believe
have
that
made
be true.
It might be. It might be just total Richard Gere gerbil in the ass propaganda.
Even on my TV show, I found it weird when this season I get to kiss two girls, and one girl was like 5 foot tall and one girl was 6 foot tall.
Whoa!
It definitely looks better when you're kissing a 6 foot tall girl.
Really?
Yeah, because like I'm the same height as her. You just have to turn your head and But when all of a sudden you're kissing a real short person, you're hunched over.
Right.
It doesn't look cool on film.
Yeah, that's why they like you to pick them up. Hoist them up in the air while you're making out
I'm a tall, weak person. I can't do that. We all have our limitations. All right, is this the actors? Okay, so Danny DeVito's he is super small.
Yeah, he's 5 foot. And then
I think he's under.
Michael J. Fox is just a 5'4". Same with Emilio Estevez. Then you go up to the Woody Allens and the Dustin
Emilio
Hoffmans.
Estevez is 5'4".
Yep.
Yeah.
See, how do I know if they're not making this up though? Woody Allen's taller than Emilio Estevez for real?
Yeah, Woody Allen's 5'5".
Yeah,
Whoa.
he's only a little fella.
And then Jack Black.
I passed him yesterday at the airport, and no one was bothering him. And you want to know why? I think he was wearing his neck pillow. It was covering up a lot of his face. He had it like with a little Velcro strap around his neck. He just looked like a schlumpy sort of guy who had to get his flight, and he didn't look like a movie star, I'll tell you that much.
That's a good move in the neck pillow because if you don't want people talking to you, wear a neck pillow because there's that extra step that they have to take. Like, is that fucking guy wearing a neck pillow? And then they decide not to talk to you because it's kind of sorted out.
And it looks like you're obviously ready for a sleep. So you don't want to be bothered. Who bothers someone who wants to sleep?
It's a very good point. Rude people. The
Yeah.
same type of people that bother you while you're eating.
Yeah.
Do you get people that come up to you while
They
you're eating?
do that after a gig. You go, hey, I don't want to interrupt you.
But I'm going to interrupt you.
Yeah, well, you do. You do want to interrupt me. You feel bad about it. I want to interrupt you, but I feel bad about it, is what you should say.
Yeah. They're just trying to find a way to be not rude while they're being rude.
Yeah, well, they're not even being rude. I understand that people want to say hello, especially if they've just seen the show.
If you're eating and you have a mouthful of food, that's where I draw the line. Like when you're sitting down to eat, when you're with your friends and people come over to the table, like if everybody did that, it would be fucking chaos. Like there's a certain amount of, of privacy that a person should, or just peace that a person should be able to get. And while a person's eating their meal, that's where I draw the line.
Well, how are you happy with your level? Like, you're more famous than me, right? I'm mildly famous. You're famous, and then there's the next.
You don't want to go there. You don't want to go.
I don't think. I think I'd like to go up to about where you are and then stop.
Even back it down a little. I'm trying to back it down a little. I'm trying to take a little bit of the edge off.
It's like, so at the moment I get stopped, I would say 4 times a day, and 3 of those people are just say, "Hey Jim," and then
that's great.
And then there'll be one person who'll take photos, and that's no problem. And that's where I'm at right now. But I'm not at the stage where I can ring a restaurant up and go, Jim Jefferies needs a table, and they'll fucking find a table because most of the population doesn't know who I am. So I'm not. I would like that because I'm lazy with my reservations. That's what I would like to get to. Restaurant tables.
Yeah, restaurant tables helps. If you were a club hopper and you wanted to get to...
I got a young kid. I might club hop again maybe later on in life, but I can't. At the moment,
now, there's no club hopping.
At the moment, I'm just fucking daycare guy. Like I'll tell you, I'm trying to lose weight again, so I started going back to the gym. So I go to the gym, and there's a daycare at my gym where I can take my son and just drop him off. And there's like two ladies in their 50s that just sort of work behind the counter. And one of my son, who's 16 months old, just fucking loves one of these ladies. There's this old Asian lady, and he lights up when he sees her, and she loves him. She'll be playing with other kids, and when she sees my son, she'll just drop what she's doing and just go, Hank! And then she says the same thing every time. She'll go, there's my boyfriend. Here he is. Pass me my boyfriend. My boyfriend gives me kisses. And then she starts kissing him all over the face, right? And then goes, enjoy your workout, and I walk off. Now, I can't do that with a baby girl. I can never go, there's my girlfriend. My girlfriend gives me kisses.
No.
Give her here, enjoy your workout. Why is that? Why is that so? I don't want to do that. Mind you, I'm not fighting for the freedom to do this in the near future. I just think it's a very odd...
I have a whole bit about it. There's no sexual equality in child molesting because there's a commercial. I don't know if you've ever seen the commercial where there's a Just for Men baby.
Yeah.
Just for Men is some shit that old dudes put in their beard when their beard's going gray. There's a baby with a beard and he's driving a Porsche with a grown woman next to him. And the baby goes to the club and he's dancing. All these women are running around kissing him. And what I'm saying is in that bit is there's no sexual equality in child molesting. You couldn't make that same commercial with the sexes reversed. Look at this. There's a baby. She's got a grown woman. The baby gets out of the car. Now look at the bouncer. He recognizes him. He points the finger at him like, oh, it's you fuck. And the guy goes in there and he's got a bottle. Look, he's got a bottle. Just in case you're thinking, well, maybe it's a little eccentric midget. So he's doing his little dance. And look, surrounded by pussy and a couple of gay dudes who just wish they could get him to turn over. This baby is the shit. And if you switch the sexes, if you had a bunch of dudes with Tarzan loincloths swinging cock, like, that's baby face height to vagina. That baby's dancing around, and the vaginas are right there.
Also, that's just an ad that's making fun of something. It's a comedy of commercial. It's meant to be a joke. But even in real life, I don't know about you, but whenever you hear, like, there's a guy who's been molesting the fucking school, the volleyball team, you always go, that fucking creep, right?
Exactly.
But then as soon as you hear there's a female teacher that had sex with a 13-year-old boy, you always go, all right, I'll have to see the photo of this woman first. And then if the woman's kind of hot, you're like, all right, then I can see where he... I don't even blame the kid. I'm like, not that I would ever blame the kid, but I'm like, I don't know if he had a bad time.
Yeah.
Is that wrong?
No, it's not wrong at all. What I say
There was a teacher at my school who I would have loved to have fucked when I was 13.
Of course.
I used to masturbate to her all the time.
There's nothing wrong with it if she's hot. That's what people need to accept. There is something wrong with the man. The difference is a man can molest a 13-year-old girl. A woman can't molest a 13-year-old boy. She could just let him fuck her.
Yeah.
They're two different things.
Yeah. And they say that women develop faster.
They do. They do in a lot of ways. They just, they're not allowed to fuck as early.
Yeah.
They can't enjoy it. They can't enjoy it at 13. There's something really creepy about a man fucking a 13-year-old. But if you found out your son got caught, with the teacher bent over the desk and he's banging her, you'd fucking be really kind of proud of him.
Yeah, there wouldn't be. You'd be like, oh, you shouldn't do that. But all right, it's funny. Like Paul Walker, when he died, they found out that he had a girlfriend for like 8 years or something, and when he started dating her, she was 16 and he was 34.
Yeah.
Right. And then on the TV, but then it's like that weird thing that when they're a celebrity, that even the Entertainment Tonight were like, but she was very mature and she, and you're like, no, statutory rape, man. You can't just change the rules because the guy's dead now.
First of all, no disrespect, But how good must that pussy have been? Where a 34-year-old movie star
Yeah.
is freaking out about a 16-year-old. I mean,
Well, she
how
doesn't
is
look that good if you can pull a picture of her.
Well, it might not be a good thing. I mean,
She might have been dynamite.
She might have had voodoo pussy.
Yeah. I've met
fucking-
those ones as well. Those girls where other girls are like, there she is there. Yeah,
She's pretty, man.
That's her at 24 or something before she. But I don't begrudge him fucking a 16-year-old girl in the sense that you can see some 16-year-old girls where you go, and it's legal in the UK and Australia. It's not like it's. I understand wanting to have sex with a fully developed 16-year-old. What I don't get is him dating her.
Pulled up that picture again? That is an odd picture, man. She's like, she's in her 20s there. Right?
Yeah, this is like when she's like they've been dating for 7 years or something.
You know, I hate the idea of. Look, I have daughters,
Yeah.
so the first thing I'm going to say is this is not something I'm really entertaining. But I hate the idea that if two people really do love each other, and for whatever reason they're perfect together, it can't happen because the guy is 30 and the girl's 16.
Yeah, come on, the girl.
I agree with you.
She has to date a few guys. Like
I agree with you.
I was devastated when the guy I lost my virginity to at 16 broke up with me, and I thought I'd never find love again. And I haven't since, really. But but I've enjoyed a lot of different women since then. As I was saying, the thing is that's creepy is not the sex; it's the conversation after sex. It's the fact that he laid there with her afterwards and went, "How was school?" And she went, "Good." And she goes, "What have you been up to?" And he was like, "I made a movie." And it's a very good movie, but it's got a lot of swear words, so you can't see it for 2 years. Because you shouldn't listen to swear words.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. That is the one thing that's a good point. I think that, he should be able to fucking do whatever he wants.
Yeah, he was a good-looking guy, though, man.
I mean, he should be able to. He should be able to date anybody who wants to date him, as long as that person is old enough to make their own choice. The real question is when is the age that you're old enough to make that choice? Is it 16? Is it 17? Is it 18?
Well, it's 16 in the rest of the world, but it's 18 in 18 in America.
So in that sense, yeah, he broke the law, but just because some shit's written down on paper obviously doesn't mean it makes sense.
And also, we know that he broke other laws such as speeding.
Well, it wasn't
like
him.
this guy was
somebody
lawyer.
else killed him.
Oh, that's
he didn't.
true.
He didn't drive that car.
I felt sorry when he died and all that type of stuff. There was a lot of deaths all at once this year, and I felt really sorry for the guy that made the in memoriam thing for the Oscars. Every night he must have sat down and gone, "All right, okay, the Oscars are coming. Paul Walker, the music ends. Beautiful. I'll go to bed." Wakes up in the morning. Fucking Philip Seymour Hoffman. All right. So, Philip Seymour Hoffman, the end. And then, he reads the paper. I thought Shirley Temple was already dead. This is bullshit.
I thought she was dead, too.
Put Shirley Temple in, the end. Harold Ramis. It was just fucking ongoing until the day he had to make that video.
That guy, James Rebhorn, who played Carrie's dad on Homeland, he died. I did a pilot with that guy
On
a long time
Homeland?
ago. You ever see that show Homeland?
I do watch Homeland. Who plays who?
Carrie's dad. She plays the father of the main chick.
The chick that's off
Yes, the one who's on
wife.
medication.
Oh no, the daughter.
No, yes.
Well, the dad, the British guy, who played the lead in Homeland.
No, not that guy. The other one, Carrie. Carrie is the crazy CIA agent.
Oh, he's
the
old
guy who plays her dad.
yeah, grey hair, bald bloke.
He just died.
Oh, that's sad.
Great guy. Really, really, really nice guy.
I'm still upset with Fred Phelps dying. Fred Phelps to me is, if you know, he's the Western Baptist Church, Westboro Baptist Church guy who used to protest gay people's funerals, soldiers' funerals, because he believed the war started because we were too nice to gays.
He's got a good point.
Yeah, well, this is my thing. I'm an atheist, and I'm also a very non-homophobic person in the sense that I wouldn't even care if my son was gay as long as he was happy. I'm of that opinion when it comes to homosexuals. But Fred Phelps was possibly the most way out there religious person we've had in a very long time, where he actually had decisions like, oh, the war started, must be because of the gays, and then he decided it was gospel, right? But what if he was the only bloke on earth that was right. Like, he gets to heaven, and then God's like, you're the only one who got me. And then, like, God's sitting up there, he goes, where's everyone else? He goes, well, no one else. You were the only person that followed it to the fucking T, man. Everyone else is in hell. And the two of them are just sitting there, and then Fred goes, faggots are cunts, aren't they? And then God goes, damn straight, and they fist pump or something. I don't know, like, if his beliefs were real, then he's the only bloke getting into heaven, is the point I made.
Well, the problem is his beliefs aren't anywhere. They're not written anywhere.
Yeah, but he started to believe them.
Specific. Well, he may have believed them. If you listen to the way he talks, though, like, you ever see the Louis Theroux documentary with him? He went and visited them, stayed with them for 3 weeks. It's very interesting. And one of the things you realize is the amount of ego this guy has.
Yeah.
And he just wants people to listen to him. Like, he doesn't answer questions. Sometimes when a question comes up, he just says, I'm not going to even answer that because you're so stupid. Like, he just comes up with some reason why he's superior. There's so much ego involved in, like, what he was doing, the way he was running that church. It wasn't based on any scripture.
I liked how they had to sing songs. You know, but they weren't smart enough to write their own songs, so they just got songs of artists who they'd probably call sinners to begin with. And just, there was the one that they did, We Are the World, but it was like, God hates the gays, they're all faggots. It's like that. And it's like, Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie wrote that song. You're telling me that you were fans of theirs and they were pretty close to the model that you wanted for your church, or... You're paying rights?
Whenever someone is a religious guy and they try singing any sort of pop music, it automatically kills it. Like that guy in Australia that thinks he's Jesus and he sings Green Day. Have you ever seen that guy?
I don't know him, but I like him already.
You never seen the Australian Jesus?
No.
Oh, he's awesome. He says he's Jesus, and he hangs out with this hot chick that he bangs, who apparently used to be Mary. And Mary has a vision. I remember him on the cross. I remember him crying.
Can we get a picture of this chick?
It's the second chick. The one on the far right is the Mary. That's the Jesus with the glasses.
Yeah, right.
And Mary apparently, unfortunately, just found out recently that she was the second Mary. And there was another girl that Jesus said was Mary before her.
That was Mary Magdalene. Two of them.
He likes to tell people he's Jesus to get the pussy.
Oh, yeah, I'm Jesus? Yeah, I've been Jesus for a while, really.
That's his nuclear option. You got to listen to the guy talk. Play some of it, Brian, because it's quite brilliant. And, you know, he's not even an exceptional guy, which is... No, not to Jesus of Siberia. It's a totally different one.
In his defense, this is how the original Jesus came out, and they hung him on a cross. Like, there's going to be some guy, if you believe in God and there's going to be a second coming, then he's going to come... This guy's got as much chance as anyone of being Jesus.
No, he doesn't. He has zero chance of being Jesus.
But the guy in Waco said he was Jesus as well, right?
Well, he was much like this guy. Just want to get some pussy.
Similar look.
Listen to him.
Family member, and they are critical of Miller. They have come.
No, that's not his voice. That's the narrator's voice. His voice, though, is very non-Jesus-like.
I've always been... How can he be from Australia? The original Bible didn't even mention Australia.
Had to go and nail him to the stake. It was like a pole. It was me that had to do that.
That's not his voice either. He's the Jesus guy was the other guy with the dark hair and the glasses.
Fucking do unto others as they'd fucking do to you, cunt.
If you could see him talking... Here he goes. Here.
They wanted to go spirit world.
Yep. You can't listen to this.
Here you go.
Can they do that?
This is one of Miller's...
Okay, the narrators are...
Who are these people? So he's got followers.
Oh, yeah. Quite a few. Queensland, I believe, is where he lives.
Fucking Queensland.
Is that a spot? Spot?
That's the Alabama of Australia.
Oh, well, there you go. That makes sense.
It's a little bit... I actually like Queensland. My father's from Queensland. I have an affinity with Queensland. I'll be there in April selling tickets to the Brisbane Tivoli Theatre. But they're a little bit... they had a politician for a while there called Pauline Hanson. And Pauline Hanson was just really racist. It was like the problem's the Aboriginals, and this is why we have to... You know, she was one of these type of people. And she got voted in that town. And she was sort of this red-headed woman. She looked like she was off a Matchbox. She was just this red-headed woman. It turned out she had electoral fraud, and she went to prison for like 6 months for doing votes. Anyway, she comes out after being really racist, and then saying stupid things like, how would you fix the economy? And she goes, print more money. Then we'd all have more money. This is the level of intelligence.
Jesus Christ.
She got voted in, right?
So she's another level past Sarah Palin.
So even in my family, we were like, that woman's disgusting. I can't believe that all these things. She's a racist Sarah Palin. That's a perfect adjustment of it, right? And so she gets put into prison, and then when she comes out, she goes on Dancing with the Stars, right? And my parents will forgive anything if you do a cracking foxtrot. They're watching that. They were voting for her. Oh, because my dad goes, she's got good legs. I go, but she just said that Aboriginals should die. Ah, you bloody hold on to things for too long.
That's so true. If someone was running for president and they did Star Search or Dancing with the Stars or American Idol or whatever those fucking shows are, and, where America got to vote and they did really well, they'd probably become president.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. As long as she... Let's see if we can you get a picture of Pauline Hanson up? I haven't had a look at this woman's face for going on 20 years. She used to own a fish and chip shop. There was people that, she was so racist, people would wear Martin Luther King t-shirts on the front that said, I have a dream. And then there'd be a picture of her on the back that goes, I have a fish and chip shop. There she is. That was our Sarah Palin in Australia.
Wow, she even kind of has that thing going on, that Sarah Palin thing going on.
Yeah, and the Asians come in here and buy all the land.
Wow.
What do you think about this whole banning Bossy? Have you got
it's retarded.
Stupid, isn't it?
It's never going to work. It makes me angry. It makes me angry that you're pretending that someone's feelings are hurt because of the word bossy.
Also, they're trying to say the word bossy means leadership. It doesn't. I have a few nieces, and I won't say which of them. One of them's bit bossy, and when I mean bossy, it's not like she goes, okay, you sit over here, we're playing this game. She's like, don't touch that, that's my toy. She's just a bit of a cunt.
Yeah. They don't like cunty, so they're trying to get rid of bossy, which is a substitute for cunty. They're trying to remove themselves from criticism. Anybody who's coming up with that, they're either trying to silence free speech, or they're trying to remove what they think is criticism they faced many times, and it's, a lot of them, where's it coming from? Most likely feminists. Well, what are a lot of feminists? A lot of feminists are very strong women who like being able to tell people what the fuck to do. And what would be a criticism of that? Well, she's a cunt, she's cunty, she's bossy.
Yeah.
Those are they're all in line with what people don't like. I will ban bossy. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, freedom of speech, you can't ban.
It's the dumbest fucking thing ever.
On their advert or the program, the woman was there going, do you know that men own 99% of the world's property, right? And then I thought about it. Do you know 95% of the homeless are also men? So there's plenty of bossy bitches kicking cunts out of their houses, living rent free. I know they keep on going, oh, you ban bossy, you won't get women that are head of corporations. Most bossy women that I have known in my life don't have jobs.
Yeah. And probably would never get to the head of a corporation because that requires a lot of people skills.
It's not like they've been held back by us going bossy. I'm there paying the rent and they're still fucking bossing me around. It doesn't feel like...
Yeah. No, the idea is ridiculous. The idea that all these women want to be the head of corporations is ridiculous too. A lot of women don't want those jobs either. They're not working towards those jobs. The idea that they're completely banned from those jobs. There are women out there who run corporations. Is it fair? I'm not saying it is. But there's a lot of shit that's not fair. Life is not fair.
There's a good chance we'll have a female president next. Or soon.
It's possible.
Yeah.
There's just very different characteristics that men have and women have. There's very different personalities, almost inherent to having testosterone and a dick that you don't have when you have a vagina.
Also, with a woman, and this is nothing against women, when they have a kid, I'm not saying because they take 9 months out of the workplace, although that's probably a problem, but I don't give a fuck. When they have a kid, their mind does change a little bit. They become less career-driven. For a lot of them, not all of them.
Yeah.
But they do start going, I want to spend time with this and da-da-da-da. And then a man has to step up a little bit more and work a bit hard. I sometimes begrudge the amount I have to go on the road and be away from my kids so as I can support the family. I feel like I miss out on something there. I'd rather be home all the time with him.
Right. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
I think everyone has a role.
Yeah.
And that everyone's role is different depending on the relationship, depending on where you are in life, depending on everything. But the idea that should be even for men and women is ridiculous. The idea that anything should be even is ridiculous.
Yeah.
The only thing you should ask is for no discrimination.
Yeah.
No discrimination, and that someone would be they would be promoted based entirely on how well they do what they do.
Who's
but
right
the
for the
idea
job.
the idea that like there should be an equal amount of men and an equal amount of women in the same position, that I don't buy that. It doesn't make any sense to me, because there's a lot of jobs that men do better than women, and a lot of jobs that women do better than men. It's just a fact.
And they've got Beyonce and Condoleezza Rice, and who is the other bird they got? Julia Gardner is on the campaign as well. And then like Beyonce's there going, I'm not bossy, but I am the boss. I'm the queen. What is it with black women and wanting to be the queen? Queen Latifah.
How about men, the king?
Queen of the night. Men are always the king.
Black men, like there's a lot of fighters that call themselves king.
Black or white men will call themselves the king of the castle. I'm the king of my home. That's a universal male thing. We want to be the king. Black women want to be queens, and white chicks want to be princesses.
That's true.
Right?
They don't even want to be queens. They want to be the child.
The only white chick that wants to be the queen is the queen.
That's probably it, right?
Every time you meet a girl, it's like, I'm a princess, because they want to be taken care of. And black chicks are like, I want to fucking own you, cunt. I'm the queen.
Well, that was the thing that black men, like, there was a big thing they used to say. It was that we used to be kings. You know, black men used to be kings. You know, before we were slaves, we were kings.
That's because in Africa, they only had little villages and they didn't travel very far. It was easy to be a king when the population was 10. And it was you in the other hut, and you're like, I'm Queen Muvusu or whatever, and fucking you go out with your spear and you think, I'm the king of this little... Because still now, they've got guys that are driving taxis in the UK who's like, I'm Prince Adu Babubaboo, right? And you're like, I'm fourth in line for the throne, because there's so many fucking kings over there.
That's hilarious. And it's so true if you really stop and think about it. Like, the amount of people, that's probably directly in line with what we were talking about when we were talking about being famous, that you don't want to be the king of a place that's too big.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't want to be the head of Rome. There's too much shit going on. Yeah. You're in all these other countries.
A lot of people to overthrow you.
Too much stress. Everybody's looking to kill you all the time. But if you're the king of a fucking small village, like you're probably doing pretty good. You get all the fish. Yeah. You're good. You got, 10 wives or whatever the hell you need.
You got 10 wives. Occasionally you can go over to a guy's house and just take a goat.
Yeah, it's a tribute he has to pay. But if you're like the head of England, god damn, there's a lot of pressure on you.
Well, King Ralph, yeah, that was a good film. You know what I like about King Ralph? King Ralph is a movie where they've worked backwards. They've gone, all right, this is the prep, because you've come up with movie ideas. Whenever you come up with movie ideas, you think of just the broad strokes. So someone's gone, okay, an American guy is the king of England and he's a slob and he likes 10-pin bowling. All right, that's what I've got. And then another guy's gone, how do we get rid of the royal family? I'm thinking, all right? And then one of them's gone, I've got it. They're all standing in a puddle and get electrocuted. Like, they're all similar. They take a photo of the entire royal family at once. They're standing in a bit of water. The camera falls over, a light falls into the puddle, and they all get electrified to death. Electrocuted. And then, obviously, they go through all the family. They can't find a single relative until they find a fat guy from Milwaukee called Ralph. I don't know if he's from Milwaukee. It sounds like he was. King Ralph.
I never saw that movie.
Peter O'Toole was in it.
Was it good?
Peter O'Toole.
For the time.
Like, who's one of the... Okay. It's funny.
I haven't seen it. Have you seen it recently?
I tell you what. I know. And movies... I tell you what I watched 3 days ago. I watched The Doors movie.
Great fucking movie.
I don't know, because I went and saw it when it was 1993 or 1992 when that movie came out. I saw it in the cinema, so that would have made me 16. I was a kid from Australia. I had never heard a Doors song, but I knew it was hip to like the Doors, and so I went along and watched it. And it was Oliver Stone. It's a lot of cutting back and forth and all this type of stuff. And I remember walking out of the cinema being bored out of my skull at 15, but then like still saying to my friends like that was a cool movie, man.
Lying.
Yeah, lying. And then when I heard like someone didn't like the film, I was like, you obviously didn't get it. You obviously don't get what Jim Morrison has to say. And now I watched it as an adult, and it's not as I enjoyed it more, but my conclusion was that Jim Morrison was a bit of a dick.
He was definitely a bit of a dick, but he was also a guy, just like we were talking about with when we were talking about Lenny Bruce.
Yeah.
He's living in a totally different era. Like breaking out in that era, like doing what they were doing, was completely radical.
How many young comedians have you met that think they're like a Jim? Like, oh yeah, the things I'm saying and the words I'm, that's
More Hicks.
Yeah.
You ever worked the Punchline in Atlanta?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Got a back room. The green room has someone wrote on the wall, "Quit trying to be Hicks."
Yeah.
It's fucking brilliant. It's brilliant because for a long time, like especially after Hicks died, when he died,
you've been in the UK. That's all they care about. They're Hicksed up, man.
Yeah.
And I like Bill Hicks, but I've gone out of my way not to watch him because I got kind of sick of. Anytime you did edgy comedy, you got compared to him, and I thought if I don't watch him, then you can't compare because I'm not influenced, so I haven't. You know what I mean? But
well, that's a compliment. I don't think people are meaning it in a negative way.
Yeah, no, but it just got to the stage where evidently we were all trying to be Bill Hicks.
Yeah, that's just an easy criticism. That's like if you have an argument with a woman and someone say, "Oh, you hate women. You hate all women." Like you know that easy argument.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're edgy and they want to dismiss you, "Oh, you're just trying to be Hicks." Like it's an easy dismissal.
My girlfriend's favorite argument is when I'm telling her off about something. Or when she's telling me, or whatever the argument is the problem with you is you always think you're right. And I always go, do you say things that you think are wrong? Is this what you fucking do? Of course I always think I'm right. I might not be right, but these are my opinions. These are what I therefore believe to be correct. Are you just fucking saying things willy-nilly? So this is probably why we fight so much. But yeah, I always believe I'm right.
I think if you consider it deeply enough, you should always believe you're right.
Yeah.
If you're just talking off the top of your head, yeah.
Yeah. I might be an idiot, but I always think I'm right.
Yeah, I don't ever say anything that I think is wrong.
Several times I am wrong, but I don't know that before the fight.
That's a very important point. That you don't know you're wrong, but you are. Yeah, but I have a real problem with that when someone realizes in the middle of an argument that they're wrong and then they keep going. No, when they keep going. That's what I fucking hate that when you hear them justifying it.
Yeah, they don't back down. It's
drives me crazy.
Like I was on set. DJ Qualls, who's in my shows, the skinny kid out of Road Trip. He was singing along to "Wanted Dead or Alive" by Bon Jovi. I'm wanted dead or alive. And then there's a line, "On the steel horse I ride," right? Yeah, I always thought it was, "I'm going to steal the horse I ride." Because he's a cowboy,
right.
But it turns out he's riding on a motorcycle.
That's better, actually.
And I haven't got the gist of this song whatsoever, right? And I said, "Oh, you got that wrong. I'm going to steal the horse I ride." And then he said, "No, it's not." And then I went, "No, you're wrong." I checked it on the internet, and he was right, but I didn't back down.
Just keep it mum.
Yeah, I just kept on going for weeks about it. You don't even know fucking song lyrics. Just because I knew it upset him.
Either one is fine, Steel Horse or Steal the Horse. I think Steal the Horse is more renegade cowboy. Steel Horse is any asshole can go buy a Harley Davidson and pretend you're a fucking cowboy.
I like my lyrics better.
It's better. It is better. Steal the Horse I Ride. That's some real renegade shit. You're a fucking you're a horse thief.
There's a song. One of my favorite songs from an Australian band called You and My is called Heavy Heart, and there's a lyric that goes. Now every T-shirt's got a white wine stain. I'm loving cigarettes again. I know every tune. It's just about a guy's been dumped, right?
Right.
Now every T-shirt's got a wine stain. I always thought it was now every T-shirt has a white stain. And that's my legs. Because, like, he's been dumped, so he's wanking so much that he's getting cum everywhere. And I think that's
probably better.
That's a great, in a romantic song, though. Every T-shirt's got a white stain. I'm loving cigarettes again.
Wine stain? Come on, man.
Hold Me Closer, Tony Danza.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, everybody used to have a bit about that, and that was like one of the early stand-up bits that people used to have a bit about people getting the lyrics wrong. There was a bunch of guys that had
where they used to have like the sheet where they have them written and they'd be flipping them over what they thought was that.
No. Like they would sing the wrong lyrics. Like there's a few guys that had bits, and it would be a real problem if they worked together. Like there's a few guys that had bits about people getting the wrong. Like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. They would come up with the wrong word for it, and they would have a whole thing.
I saw a lot of guys. Hold me closer, Tony Danza with Elton John.
That's Photoshop, though. So obviously,
there was there was a lot of guys who would have a pad and they'd write out. In Britain, they'd write out all the lyrics to songs like, like that song they always play like in satanic movies. Dun, 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 dun. And it's in Latin, right? But he would write out what he thought it was in English. And when you saw the words with the music, your ear started to go, oh, that is what they're saying. And then there was another one for that Michael Jackson, The Earth song. What about us? That one.
Yeah.
No one knows what the fuck he's saying in that. He's just screaming around. And that was very popular in Britain for them to go, oh, these are the words I think. But
it's kind of hacky.
It's kind of hacky. But I don't mind a guy. There's occasionally you get there's song parody guys that are really shit. Most of them are shit, but occasionally you'll get a guy where you go, "Oh, he's all right, him," just out of nowhere. It's like anything. If you even if you do something shit, if you do it extraordinarily well, then it can be good.
Well, it sucks for a guy like Weird Al Yankovic, who was like one of the first guys
who does it. He does it very good and just doesn't change the lyrics. He gives a whole new story.
Yeah,
it's like he does that Offspring song. I'm pretty fly for a rabbi.
Yeah.
Right? And it's just all about this guy, and he's in his rabbi place, and he's in a synagogue, and
It is a weird thing though when someone else creates the foundation for what you're doing. Whenever you're doing a parody of something, someone else creates the foundation, and then you come along and build comedy on the foundation of whatever they're doing. Mm. Like I'm fat from I'm bad. You wear it. Doom, 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 doom. You got the same outfit on.
But he was the first guy to really. And he used to get the rights from people, like for the film clips and everything. People used to like it when they did it.
Oh, I'm sure.
See, at the moment, I've been told that Dana Carvey does an impersonation of me. I desperately want to see it.
Dana Carvey does an impersonation of you?
Yeah, like at CAA, the agents were said, we just had Dana Carvey, he does an impersonation of you. We're all cracking up. I don't think he does it on stage, but he was just doing it for the other agents down at CAA. And then I think they thought that I'd be like, what the fuck is that cunt doing? I was like, fuck, all I want to know now is what it looks like. I want to see Dana Carvey's like one of the best impersonators ever.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool that he's doing an impersonation of you.
Well,
I'd say that's a good sign.
That's a good sign, yeah. He's one of those guys that I always think maybe he just didn't want to do movies anymore. Because he just lives up in San Francisco now. He plays clubs every weekend and stuff like that. But
does he?
Yeah, I think.
Does he do a lot of stand-up?
Yeah, but I think he does it like in a club down the road from his house where he goes every week and it's packed out.
Really?
You know what I mean? Like he's just that guy.
Let's find out.
Yeah, I think he was at the Ice House recently.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, he's
That's
those
kind of a
those
cool
era
idea.
of films were like Wayne's World and all that were like a big deal for me.
Yeah, me too. I think I saw Wayne's World more than any movie ever in my life.
Well, he's doing a bunch of theaters. He's doing San Manuel Casino, and he's doing the IP Casino Resort and Spa. He's doing smaller casinos, but maybe he's doing. He just mostly works up there, and then
I want to put him in legit. I'll see if we get a third season. I want to put him in. I
have him do an impression of you.
Yeah, maybe that could be the reason. Like I could see him on TV doing impersonation of me. I go to confront him or something. Would be a cool episode. Like if I was a bit arrogant and all upset, and I was on coke when I was watching the episode where he was doing that, or the TV spot.
I think for a guy like him, I bet it's probably really a nice thing to do, to just be able to do theaters.
Yeah.
Just do his gig on the weekends and then go places and not have anybody telling him, oh, our movie got funded, the production company wants to change something about your show. Or
press. It's like my PR person wanted to come along to me to this because they didn't book it. They went, oh, we should come along to everything. I'm like, I've done Joe's podcast before, just fine. getting there by myself.
Oh, PR people are disgusting. When people bring them and they start talking to me, like what he needs to do is get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. You can't talk for him. Let that guy. There's a reason why he's here and not you. He's a talker. This is a comedian or she or whoever the fuck
it's
the
a
guest
very
is.
odd occupation, the PR.
Well, they're confused.
Everybody else that you have employed, you can sort of exactly tell where the money's coming from. Your agent books the gigs and your manager gets you thing. You can sort of go, quintessentially, you can justify that. But with PR, it's just like, I don't know, is that worth the money? I don't know. Did I get anything out of it? Is my life better? I'm not sure what happened there.
Some of them are real good.
Yeah.
Some of them are really good at it. I have a good publicist. He gets, like, if I need to do things, he can get me those things. If I want to, promote something, a gig or what have you. But the bad ones are the ones that tell the clients what to say and what to do and where to don't talk about this. Remember, don't do this, don't do that.
Yeah.
You can never do that with a comic. A comic should do, most likely the mistake that you think that they're going to make would be one of the best things they could do. Like you telling them not to say something, if they wind up saying it and it becomes hilarious, a big uproar, and the network gets pissed, it's probably the best thing they could ever do.
I got in trouble a couple of weeks ago on Opie and Anthony, just ringing in, and I had to have my publicist check that I didn't fuck everything up in my life, because Carrie Fisher's in this season are legit. And so I chatted to Carrie Fisher for a while, and Carrie Fisher told me a little bit about what she was doing in Star Wars, and I didn't think it was a big secret. And I was talking to Opie and Anthony about it.
What was it?
Yeah, what was it?
It turns out that, like, on Star Wars forums and web pages went fucking mental. Like, Jim Jefferies just spilt the beans on the new Star Wars film.
Oh, no.
And I was like, fuck. They're the last fucking bit of mafia in this town that I need going after me. The people who are in charge of
Disney.
20th Century Fox and Disney at once, teaming up to ruin my career.
So she told you a secret?
No, she didn't tell me a big secret. All she said was, she said to me, she goes, I'm going to film Star Wars sort of January through to July. And I said on Opie and Anthony, I go, well, it was announced, I go, she can't be having a small role because she's there for that many months. So, like, I imagine that we're going to see her, Luke Skywalker, and Han Solo in the whole film. Mm-hmm. Which many people were speculating that they'll just have a cameo, right? And I was saying, well, that amount of time, and I thought maybe this was information that everyone already knew. I didn't know that I was, had some secret. I can say it again here because I'm already in trouble, right?
She was the one who fucked up by telling you. Yeah, if you're going to tell someone something that's a secret, you got to say, hey, you can't tell anybody this.
Well, I don't know if it was a secret. I don't know if it's just been blown out of proportion. But they say that episode 7 is a continuation of episode 6. I'm like, there's going to have to be a 30-year gap between these things unless something happened with the Force where everyone aged really fast.
They lost me 100% a few years back. It's like the first couple of Star Wars, for the original few, were pretty good. And then when they took that gap and then came back, was it in the 80s, the late 80s, when they started doing them again?
No. The Phantom Menace was later than that, man. That was like 2000. I was at university.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, wherever it was, I was like, man, this is just not Star Wars.
That was the height of my ecstasy taking. And I was at that stupid thing when you get so into pills where you're like, oh, we're going to have to see Star Wars and we'll be on ecstasy. Because it's like someone's just spent $1 billion on special effects and that's still not good enough for my mind anymore. I need to see it.
What is it like to see that movie on ecstasy? Do you forgive them more?
I actually saw it I saw it the first time on ecstasy, and I remember saying to people as we walked out, best Star Wars ever. And then I went and saw it 2 more times. And also it didn't adjust after the drugs were off because I'd been telling everyone all that week, you got to see it. It's better than the original Star Wars.
Oh no!
Because the pod racing blew my fucking mind when I was at ecstasy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jar Jar Banks, he is awesome in
Best
this movie.
actor. I smell an Oscar.
Do you remember how bad that character was? Everybody was angry.
You know what was bad about those new films were, and I don't know if George is just an idiot, but a little bit racist.
Yeah?
Little Jar Jar Binks was obviously like a black sort of slave woman from a Gone with the Wind style film.
And a black actor.
Pull up the Jar Jar Binks.
But the way he talked,
video.
Misa, get you for that, sir. Misa gonna help you out, the Misa. And he was like, just fucking shine my shoes and fuck off. Like, it was that level of racism they were putting in. And then they made the guys who were the trade embargo people. They were like Nazi-esque Japanese people. They were like, you have no section here in this part of the galaxy. Like that, right?
Pull up a video.
We're gonna die.
Pull up a video. I don't want to hear you do it.
Yeah, no, it's Aunt Maybell or whatever.
Well, that's interesting, man. I never even thought about it that way.
And then the goodies all had British accent. All the Jedis were like, we are part of the realm of the thing. And then, you cannot come into our trade, blah, 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 blah. Right? So it was like, and all the Gungans were like laid back Jamaican style black people in the end of the film where they were all like hippies. Just
that is that thing that we do when we have a language that we want to be noble. We give it an English accent.
Or villains. They're good at villains or romantic leads, the English accent.
Like when you hear, why is this music playing in the background?
Because I think most of the videos with Jar Jar Binks has been taken off YouTube, but this one's awesome.
Boom together, then crash into my same river, then vanished.
Mr. Bundegasher.
Mr. Jar Jar Binks. Mr. Jar Jar Binks.
Misa.
And grabbing that Jedi is very, very bad. Oh.
Steps on dog.
He always has to walk 10 steps behind his masters.
That's so weird, man. The music's killing me. That troll.
He was the first like fully CGI'd person in cinema, and the technology just was a few years off. Because then they sort of nailed it with Gollum.
Well, they can make it. The thing about these guys like Jar Jar Binks is it's not a real thing, so you don't compare it to a real thing, and it doesn't fuck with you. Like a real lion looks way different than a CGI lion. There's something about the way they move. It's like, but like Godzilla is probably gonna look fucking badass.
Lizards and stuff look really good, but I always say don't CGI clothes. As soon as you CGI clothing on something, the material doesn't flows too smoothly like it's water or something. It doesn't ruffle like a real shirt. Like Yoda looked cool as a puppet. He was more believable as a puppet because he existed.
Yes.
And now Yoda, it's like with his flowing cloak that he comes in with. It just doesn't. That's what takes me out of it.
Yeah, that's the argument that special effects guys have for using makeup and like Richard, you know, like the type of special effects that they used in Star Wars, like the original Star Wars, is all like the same shit they use in American Werewolf in London, like rubber and, you know, hair, and it's all special effects guys.
But it's real.
Rick Baker was like the main guy. But yeah, it's a real thing. Whereas like if you're looking at hair is a big one, like flowing hair. Any flowing hair that's CGI, it looks like shit.
Yeah. It's like unless it's like in a CGI world, like a Pixar film where everyone's fucking looking that way.
Yeah, like a
But if it's standing next to another person, you're like,
it's not real. Yeah, it's not. They're not ready yet. Animals are not ready yet. The wolves in Game of Thrones, those dire wolves, they're like.
We got John Ratzenberger on my show. He plays one of the dads, right? Who's Cliff Clavin from Cheers.
Ah, great.
Now I can always tell the age of a girl. Like I don't shit on my girlfriend or anything, but I always think when these girls who are extras have one line on the thing, you always think, I wonder if I could have fucked her. You know, that's how all your life is like this, right?
Right, of course.
And I was talking to one girl thinking she was cute. And then this is the way I gauge a girl whether she's too young for me. Whether when she's talking to John Ratzenberger, does she know him as A, Cliff from Cheers, or B, the pig from Toy Story? And if she's never heard of Cheers and he goes, oh yeah, I'm Hammy the pig from Toy Story. Yeah, I got some coin. Hey, Buzz Lightyear. If he does all that and they go, oh, I know who you are. You go, okay, you can't go near that girl. That's too young. Too young. Like, surely you must have seen Cheers once.
A lot of people haven't.
You know why? Because kids today don't see anything old because they've got too many channel options.
It's true. Too many new shows to catch up on.
I used to see, I seen all the Abbott and Costellos, Ma and Pa Kettle films, every Shirley Temple movie, because my mother liked these old black and white films, and they were on a Sunday, and we only had 4 channels, and we had one TV, so I had to fucking sit and watch these films. right? Because I didn't go out of the house for whatever reason. Now, the kids today, they've got their own, you had to wake up for a cartoon. Remember, the cartoon was at Sunday, you had to wake up for it.
I remember that shit.
Now you can DVR it, plus you've got a cartoon channel. And then when you get a bit older, you've got this channel that sort of caters to you being a fucking moron. The Nickelodeon one, where it's like, now, like, you're grown up a little bit, we're still going to keep you children. When the kids should start watching more adult sort of drama-y type things, now they're watching fucking Miley Cyrus or Hannah Montana or all that type of shit.
Have you ever seen Nick at Night or Nick Moms? They have Nick
Mums stand-up.
After dark, yeah.
They have the mums doing stand-ups.
About being a mom.
Yeah.
I guess it works for them, I'm not hating or anything, but
it seems like a very restrictive thing. It's like I once did an atheist convention in front of like 5,000 people in Australia, and I was booked to do it. And as I said, I retire my jokes after they're done. This is the only time I brought back old jokes in recent times because I had to do a 40-minute set. It had to be all religious stuff. And I have 40 minutes of religious stuff over the course of all my specials.
Yeah.
But never at once. So I actually sat on looking myself up on YouTube going, oh, that's how that bit goes. Oh, that's how that bit goes. So I could just do a religious fucking set.
A 40-minute religious set. How do you keep yourself from repeating the same sort of theme?
I've done a lot of religious jokes, but there was a little bit of cheating going on in the sense that I'd go, fucking these Catholics don't like people wearing condoms, do they? Anyway, I fucked a chick without a condom. Like, that wasn't a religious routine. But there was some definite,
you got to.
Yeah, there was some dressing up of other jokes to make them look like they were religious.
That's funny.
But when you meet that many atheists, okay, the atheist community, not a good-looking bunch. Not a lot of sexy atheists. I don't know why. A
lot of redundancy, too.
Yeah, a lot. And, yeah, as I said, my opening line was, look at this, 5,000 people talking about nothing. Like, there's a lot of effort to talk about nothing.
Well, have you ever heard of Atheism Plus?
What's that?
Oh, this is where it gets rough. It's atheism plus a set of core ethical and moral values. So it's like, anti-discrimination, anti-racism, essentially it's a religion based on a type of anti-religion, but
you should
social
just know how
code.
to do these things. You should have your own social code inherently in you as a human being.
Well, I call it duh.
Yeah.
Atheism plus is duh. Yeah, duh. Don't be racist. Duh. Don't be homophobic. I think at a certain point in time, when enough information gets distributed, like for instance, this group. Okay, the 4 people that are in this room. Right. If you want to start preaching to the 4 people in this room that you shouldn't be homophobic or you shouldn't be racist, like to us, with no point other than just espousing your beliefs, we'd be like, duh.
Yeah.
Of course. What the fuck are you saying? Unless there's some humor to it, you're just repeating some shit that everybody with a fucking brain and a heart agrees with. Like, why would you be sexist? Why would you be homophobic? Why would you be racist?
All the simple fundamental things that decide whether you can be friends with a person. Just the bit where these are deal breakers for me. If you're homophobic, you're racist, whatever.
Yes.
I think you're a cock. If you're any of these things.
Yes.
And then there's the other things like I'm anti-gun. I have a lot of people who are pro-gun. You know what I mean? That's something that's just open to fucking argument or debate, but it's not a deal closer when it comes to being a friend, right?
Absolutely.
And then, of course, we all hate women, right? We're all on the same page with that one, right?
The antidepressant one is one that I leave open to debate. I have people that I'm friends with that will go on this big rant about how evil antidepressants are, and then I have friends that are on them.
Oh, I've used them, and I've found they have helped me in my life.
You used them and you got off of them?
Yes.
Why'd you get off of them?
I probably should stay on them, but I'm of the opinion in life it's better to be taking nothing into your body, medicine-wise. There's other things you should take, vitamins or whatever, but I feel like if you can get away with it and not take it, it's probably better in the long term.
Have you ever fucked around with 5-HTP?
What's that?
5-HTP is it's the building blocks for serotonin, and you could take it in a supplement form. And 5-HTP actually helps your body produce more serotonin, makes you feel better.
All right. No, I'd be definitely up for something like that. Yeah. For me, I've been on antidepressants. Sometimes a big tragic event happened in my life, and I just haven't been able to pull my shit together. A couple of times that happened. Then the last time I was just suffering from depression, and it just wasn't fucking shifting. You know.
You ever been hit in the head?
Yeah.
How many times? Lots?
One major, like in high school a few times, but one major time as an adult. Like there's an infamous video of me getting punched on stage, but that one didn't actually hurt. That was just a little dinger. But one time I got off stage in Nottingham, England, and no hint that the gig had gone badly or hecklers or anything like that. And a guy came up and grabbed me from the back of the head and smashed my head into a table, and I fractured my skull up above the bridge of my nose.
Why did he do that?
I'm never quite sure. I was knocked out. Like,
did they arrest the guy?
From what I heard, the security roughed him up. The British government gave me $10,000 in compensation, £10,000 in compensation.
But you got knocked unconscious, huh?
And I woke up in a hospital. Yeah.
Fuck.
That one, it was like one of those one hitters. But also, I was facing the other direction, and it was really. And this is what I'll say, because this is one of the debates I get in. I'm all for public health care, and I'm saying that as someone who's got money and would pay for my private health care on top of that anyway. In Britain, man, they put me in a hospital. They never checked my name. They made sure I was all fucking well and good, and then they just left me. And I wasn't a citizen or nothing.
I agree with you 100%. I think that healthcare should be mandatory, that society takes care of its citizens.
Yeah.
I think there should be optional health care, like a really good doctor, like to get your knee fixed or something like that. You want to go to the guy who does the Lakers.
Yeah.
But everyone should be able to get health care.
You should, the poorer people in society should have free health care. And when I say the poorer people like students, even if you come from a rich family or whatever, but once you're on your own at 18 and you want to stand on your own two legs and you don't want to ring mum and dad up and go, Mum, I need, you know what I mean? They should be taken care of. And then once you get a bit, like normally when you get money, it's later in life and you have more ailments later in life anyway. But in the UK, I paid for my private healthcare on top of my normal healthcare. Now, if in like the public healthcare, if I had something small, I just use the public healthcare just to see a GP or at the emergency room or whatever. I just saw my thing. And then if they said for instance, I had a cyst in my neck that had to be cut out. And the doctor goes, all right, you can be put on the waiting list for the public health care. You can get it done in 4 weeks, or I can do it for you tomorrow if you use your private cover. So you get moved up the ladder a bit quicker.
I see. Yeah.
Right? So all these people who are complaining in America, like, I won't get as much help. If you still buy it on top, that's a better system. And then nothing changes. But I don't think they've structured it brilliantly out here, or maybe they've been up against it trying to explain it to Americans, because I listen to people on the radio all the time who are just like, who sound poor to me. They sound like they're working class people who can't, and they're like, I don't want this healthcare. This healthcare is gonna, and you're like, what? You don't want what? You don't want to have the whole fact that these companies won't cover existing conditions. If you have a little child that's born with AIDS or whatever, I know that's a very exact thing I've just said, but of course they should have health care.
Exactly. There should be certain core things that society takes care of. There should be law enforcement, there should be hospitals, there should be fire departments.
Yeah.
When those core things are not being taken care of, if you don't have health care for people, I mean, what's the point in having a society? If you can't give these people the ability to heal themselves, I mean, isn't that like one of the major things you would want to take care of?
But people say it's not in the Constitution, but in the Constitution...
So what?
Well, it was written when healthcare was shit.
Yeah, they didn't even know what the fuck they were doing. They had chicken bones and fucking... They didn't even have Band-Aids. How about that? They didn't have Band-Aids. They didn't have sticky shit yet.
Leeches were very, very in. That's how people thought you'd heal.
They didn't know enough about bodies. But the whole idea that we have to stick only by things that were in the Constitution, the world is so fucking radically different than it was in the 1700s.
Yeah.
And the idea is just fucking stupid. It's just a stupid idea. The Constitution has some great ideas and a great understanding of what goes wrong when corruption
it's
takes
like
hold.
the Ten Commandments. It's a good foundation and a base, but then you can add to it. And then, what did Louis C.K. say? That there's no... The Ten Commandments don't say you can't rape.
Yeah, well, rape is kind of tolerated in the Bible. Women are second-class citizens in the Bible. I mean, it's so clearly flavored by the time in which people wrote it. You know, I mean, there's a lot of fucking shit in the Bible about when they talk about coveting thy wife's neighbor. That's not about fucking her or wanting to fuck her. It's about she's property. That's what it is. Coveting, it's like taking his property. It's not like coveting his wife, because they're in love and you're going to fuck
Coveting
up their
her
gig.
face and over her tits. Look at all that covet I put on you. I don't have a great grasp of the English language.
Well, I don't think most people do. Coveting thy neighbor's wife, though, is about him being, him owning her.
Yeah.
Slaves, they have all these laws in the Bible about beating your slaves.
It's all written about wherever the guy was and within a 5-mile radius. There's a webpage called Ask God or something where little kids can type in. And the most asked question on Ask God is that this is what kids' brains work. Like, kids want to know, were there kangaroos on the ark? Right? After they hear all the stories, a child can get the Bible down to this is what the information I want. Were there kangaroos in the ark is the most asked question. And the answer is, although there is no mention of kangaroos in the Bible, you can be assured because there was 2 of each animal that there were kangaroos on the ark.
They just decided to leave it out because not a lot of Australians read the Bible.
No, they just left it out because they didn't fucking know about Australia. God made the entire earth and the universe and all that type of stuff, and he did it in like a week, but he didn't know about Australia, at least not to mention in his book.
The Australia thing is very interesting because it's such a huge continent and there's all these animals that are specific to Australia.
Yeah.
Like the kangaroo.
Yeah.
Those motherfuckers aren't anywhere else.
No.
Like, what
wombats,
a weird animal.
they went out and fucking wombats on the ark. And when Noah finished, when the water was going down or when the water was receding, like to where it is now, did he go and drop everyone off at their different places? Maybe all these animals were rocking around the town that he was in. They all lived in this one town. And then he went, these are all the animals we got left. I'm going to take, you're going to Australia, polar bears, you're going to be on this boat for a while, lions, Africa. Like, he must have decided, right? Is there a bit in the Bible where he decides where everyone rocks out?
They all walked and they found their spots on the world.
Yeah. How? How did they make it to
walked.
Australia?
God provided them walking on water abilities.
They gave them those big shoes that you have on holidays that you think are good when you're going to walk on walk on water.
Tennis racket shoes.
Yeah, those ones.
Those are snowshoes. You need those, man, if you actually go walking in snow. If you ever watch any of those Alaska shows where people live in...
stops you from sinking, right?
Yeah, they have these giant, sort of like net-looking shoes, and they walk around on those fucking things, and it keeps you from... It spreads out your weight over a large space. Keeps you from... Like, if you were on pegs walking through the snow, it would be a real fucking pain in the ass.
Stilts would be no good.
Like, you don't want a wide tire when you drive it in the snow. A lot of people think that you don't get more traction if you had a wide tire.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you actually want a more narrow tire because a narrow tire cuts through the snow. The big wide tires tend to float on it because there's more weight is distributed over a larger patch, a larger contact patch.
I don't really understand the snow. I find it weird whenever I go play a gig. Like, I was just this week I was in Milwaukee and Detroit, and it was snowing in both places. And I'm there in the snow, and I feel like telling the people, you're allowed to live anywhere in America. You're a citizen. You can live anywhere. You can live in Hawaii. Anywhere you want. People shoveling out their fucking driveway. It seems like madness to me.
It is kind of madness, but there's a certain type of person that grows up around snow that's a hardier person.
I understand, like, Canadians, where they're like, I like to hunt and this, and I like to cut down trees and shit. And, you know what I mean?
Make my own syrup.
Yeah, I like to tap. I'm going to put a tap in that tree over there and get syrup out of it. I'm like, all right, enjoy yourself. But I don't understand, like, if you live in the city. Let's say if you have an apartment in the middle of one of these cities.
Right.
If you want to live in a big house in the hills and be like, in
the woods.
I've brought you some elk.
Right. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I understand that, but I don't... Why?
Why live in New York City?
I don't understand, and I also don't understand why. Let's say you have a shitty job, like you're the guy in a booth that cuts keys, right? And you fix heels on shoes. I've never understood why those two occupations are bound together. You know?
Are they together?
Yeah, it's always the shoe fixing guy also will cut keys.
I don't know if that's true.
That is, you know what I'm talking about?
No. You know what? The mailbox, there's like a UPS place that I send packages out of. They also make keys.
Yeah. Keys have attached themselves to other occupations.
You can't just have a key store.
You can't have a key store. You got to go, I make keys and donuts.
I never knew that the shoe
No, the shoe guy is inherently mixed in with the key guy. I understand the key guy when he's hanging out with the guy who puts batteries in watches.
Look at
that.
That's
another.
It's a fucking sign.
This is a sign for sale on eBay. It's for key cutting.
We should get that and ship it to Jim Jefferies.
Shoe repair
As a big
and
thank
key
you.
cutting. That's the thing.
Please purchase that. It's $29.99. Please purchase that. We'll have it shipped to Jim
Thank you.
Jefferies.
I'll have that. I'll put that in my gymnasium. So they have those guys. Okay, now if you do that job and you fix a heel for $5, $10, and you do a key for $3, and you sit in your booth, keying and shoeing. Why do that in Manhattan? Why don't you become the guy who does that in like Kansas, where it's a lot cheaper to live?
In Manhattan.
I know, but you can live anywhere.
But you're not making a lot of money with that key business. Enough where
Yeah,
you
but
can
when the-
stockpile
but
up your cash,
but the rent
move
and
to a
everything.
new place, get a new house,
It's so
move
much
all your
cheaper.
shit there. Yeah, but it's a big investment to move. See, the big problem with moving is you need 3 months worth of rent. You
Yeah.
need first, last, and
Sure,
security.
it's true.
That's a lot of fucking money.
True.
You also need the moving truck. You also need the time.
Oh, I
You
start
al-
again every year. I can just give away all my shit.
Do you
I,
really?
I moved to England, gave away all my shit. I moved over here to America, gave away fucking everything.
Yeah, but you're a
Stereo
successful
speakers
comic. There's a difference. You make a good living every week. The stuff that you need to do your job is minimal. I mean, what do you need? You need a notebook and
Well,
clothes.
but when I moved to Britain, I was flat broke. And then when I moved over here, I actually was getting sued by Paramount when I moved over here, and they basically cleaned out my bank account as well.
Why were you getting sued?
I had a
Told them about Star Wars.
4 DVD deal with Paramount DVDs UK. I can speak about this now because it's been so long. I think I've the statue of whatever. Oh, maybe not. I don't give a fuck. so I had this 4 DVD deal. And I had made one that was never meant to have gone into the shops. That I said I'm just going to make one to sell after gigs. So it was done really on the cheap, and it's called Contraband, which is sort of a cool name for it because it wasn't in shops and all that type of stuff, right? And what happened was, after I made that, I just started to get popular in the UK, and they released this into the shops. I already wasn't happy with them because it was a really shitty product, really basic looking crap product. Anyway, I come over here, so I got that DVD in the shops over there. I'm doing very well in Britain. I did well at the Edinburgh Festival and all that type of stuff, and I had a profile now. I came over here. I got my HBO special, and I went back going, good news, everyone. I got an HBO special. I'm going to make it in America now as well. And the lady that was the executive was like talking to a fucking child, it was. She was like, but you've still got a 3 DVD deal with us. And I'm there going, yeah, but let me do this one. Then we'll start selling product in America. I'll do the next 3 with you. You've already got me for a cheap rate. Let me do this one in America to raise my price. And she goes, but you can't do that. Your deal's with us. And so I went, I'm doing the HBO special, sue me. And so they sued me for the advance money they gave me for the 4. And then
How much advance they give you? Well, you don't have to tell you.
£90,000.
And so you had to give them back.
Which is like 150,000 American. It was, a lot of money, And I had to give them back that plus money that I might have been less than that. Anyway, I had to give them that plus money that they'd spent on me, so it was like another £20,000 or whatever. And so I said, all right, for that, I said you have to take Contraband off the shelves because I never liked that one. So I got that DVD pulled from the shops. And I did a lot of jokes off that one. We were in my HBO special as well. But I got out of that deal. Best thing I ever did because I've now had 3 more deals since then to do DVDs afterwards. It was the best thing ever getting sued by those people. But at the time, I had that much money minus 10 grand in my bank account and was like, and I felt like I was the richest guy in the world. I had like £100,000 in my bank. And I felt like I'm sitting pretty. And then I'm going to move to America. And then I was fucking broke, man. They took it all, the bastards.
Well, it sounds like they were right. You had a deal.
Oh, no,
Unfortunately.
Fundamentally, they were right.
Yeah.
But they could have made a lot more money out of me if they just let me out to do this one special.
Yeah, but they wouldn't trust you to do that because if you went and did that, you see, they're not making any money off that HBO thing.
No.
The only way to get...
But they would have gotten Alcoholicos fully functional, the one I'm about to record.
Yeah, but they would have never... how do they know even you would stay alive? They give you this HBO special, you get hit by a meteor, then they lose out.
All I know is there was one of the executives that were working for Paramount who agreed with me and one of them who didn't.
Oh.
And those 2 executives were fighting. I think one of the execs actually left
Because of it?
Yeah, went to work with Sony or something because he was like, I can't fucking, this was just stupid.
It seems like there should be a way to work it
I
out.
was the first British-based comic I can't even think of another one, but let's say in a very long time, to get a major break in America. To get an HBO special or a Showtime special in America. They're like I'm sure Billy Connolly's probably done one.
Yeah.
Eddie Izzard's always produced his own type of stuff, but I was the first British-based guy to have that sort of thing. And there was no way I wasn't going to fucking do it.
Of course.
So I just opted out of my contract and got sued. I'm not angry about it to this day. I feel like it worked out better for me. But at the time, it was like someone punching me in the guts. When you give over all that money, you're like, oh, Christ.
Still, though, you getting rid of all your stuff, you're still a successful comic.
Oh, no. I was still being paid for the HBOs. Yeah. I had money coming in. No, it wasn't super difficult.
Yeah, but I'm saying this is a lot harder for a guy who's making keys.
Yeah, key guy.
If you really stop and think about a guy who has like a real low-paying job and the idea of saving money and the idea of figuring out...
doesn't exist, saving money.
I was reading about this general. You heard this case about this general that he got sued for sexual harassment or for sexual misconduct. Adultery apparently is illegal in the armed forces. That's how they got Petraeus. Petraeus got kicked out because of adultery.
Right.
Which is pretty fucking unbelievable when you think about you're allowed to kill people, but you're not allowed to fuck someone other than your wife. Like, they'll kick you out of the army for that. Like, okay,
right.
Whatever.
It seems a little preachy, but yeah.
But they talked about how much this guy, how much he was making. And you find out how much like a general makes. Like they were talking about, it was $4,000 a month or $5,000 a month for 4 months. They took his money away. Like he didn't get paid for 4 months while this trial was going on.
I always find it amazing when you find out how much the president earns.
Yeah.
Like $250,000 a year.
Yeah, it's not. Well, I think it's a little more than that now. I think it's like $500,000 for the president. But
I know that they earn less than the stagehands at Carnegie Hall.
Whoa, are you serious?
Stagehands. I did Carnegie Hall. The stagehands at Carnegie Hall are union based, and you can pass the job on to your children. And 2/3 of the stagehands at Carnegie Hall, it's like a fact that they always give in pub quizzes, earn more than the president.
Whoa! In 2001, the president earned $400,000.
Yeah.
Along with $50,000 annual expense account, $100,000 non-taxable travel account. Now, how much is it today in 2014? Today, it's still $400,000.
Plus
That's
free
weird.
iPad, plus
Yeah,
Monster Beats.
A travel account.
You always get an upgrade on Delta.
The total salary is $550 per year, with an entertainment stipend. He has a $20,000 entertainment stipend.
That means he gets to have Jay-Z come over and singing him a song. Isn't that the one he likes?
I don't think that's what it is. I think it means like for his entertainment, like money he spends things on. $20,000 a year, which I guess over the course of 365 days, 50. Well, it's probably dinner and stuff like that too.
Yeah,
hot dogs.
Probably.
But I thought he didn't pay for anything. I thought he just had a corporate card where he could buy anything, and it was on us. Well,
he has an expense account. There's an annual expense account, but it doesn't say how much it is. But it says that in 1969, Nixon made $200,000, which is over $1 million today in today's dollars.
In expenses?
No, per year. That's what his salary was. Nixon might have given himself a raise, though, that cunt.
Yeah, he was a crook, I heard.
Yeah.
Said he wasn't.
Oh, he was definitely a crook. He was a piece of shit, but everybody was a piece of shit back then. He was just one of the first guys to get caught. There was a whole series of pieces of shits. What is this?
This is an interview that Jimmy Carter did saying that he doesn't use email to talk or anything like that because he thinks the NSA is spying on him, so he only uses postal mail.
Wow.
Jimmy Carter.
Well, now that he told them that, they're going to intercept his postal mail, read it, print it,
of
reseal
course
it. What is he, retarded?
Of course they're
Loose
spying
lip
on him.
sync ships, you old cunt.
Of course they're spying on him. He's an ex-president, right? Of course they.
He doesn't even know how to use a computer, let's be honest.
He probably knows how to use a computer. He's a pretty smart guy.
Wasn't he a peanut farmer?
Yeah, peanut, yeah. At a certain point in time, I think kind of everybody who's paying attention knows how to use a computer in this day and age. I mean, it's too much of a
I'm
part
the
of-
worst at it, but I can still email and.
Then you're better than Dom Herrera.
You
and Dom Herrera should get together and decide who's the worst. Because I say Dom fucking beats you hands down.
Oh, I can use Netflix and email, and I can look at things and update my web pages and stuff. That's all I can do. But I was the worst for years and years and years. And then I always used to look at like kids with computers and think, look at these fucking pretentious cunt parents giving their kid an iPad when I didn't have an iPad. You know what I mean? And now I just gave my son, who's 16 months, I got a new iPad and I gave him my old one.
They love them.
They love them, but also it's like you have to. The world is now computers, so the sooner he gets his hand on a computer and is fiddling with a computer, the better.
Well, it's also, there's connections that are made. There's a bunch of games that kids can play on iPads that are actually good for your brain.
Yeah.
They're making connections. They figure out how to do puzzles. They figure out how to count things. There's like a series of educational games that kids fucking love. My 3-year-old steals my phone every time I leave it down. She'll open it and start going. She knows how to open my phone. She's fucking 3. She swipes it and enters in the code. She knows what my code is, goes right to the app she wants and starts playing these games. And a lot of them are fucking really... They're really good for your little brain.
Well, my son's favorite game is a cat that repeats what he says.
Well, there's fun ones, too. My 3-year-old likes to do one where she gives mani-pedis to dogs.
Yeah, there's a lot of dressing things up. Like this one, like my son just looks at it and goes, "Ah!" And the thing goes, "Ah!" back at him, and he laughs. It's weird. As a comedian and someone who has been terrible at sports their entire life, I see a lot of people with dads when they're like, look, he just threw the ball. I literally, with my son, go, he knows that's funny.
Yeah.
Right? Like I was proud in the same way that a sporty dad who sees his son kick a goal, I was proud. I saw my son, he lifted up one ass cheek, he farted, and then he laughed. And I was like, he's developing. He knows what's good. He knows the good bits.
My 3-year-old runs over, parts her butt cheeks, and farts in my face.
Yeah. Right.
In my face. Raw, naked ass, right out of the tub, runs over, bends over in front of me, and farts in my face, and then fucking cries laughing. She thinks it's the funniest shit.
It is. It's pretty funny.
Do you get mad?
No, I think it's hilarious. How could you get mad?
I did
so
something.
Cute.
I did something with my son that I think may be illegal. Right? You know when you do something, you're like, oh, I might have committed a crime.
What'd you do?
Well, I'm in the shower, as I do every morning, and he always comes up when he hears me in the shower, because he wakes up about an hour and a half before I do, because he wakes up early and his mum takes care of him in the morning, and I'm having a shower, and he comes up when he hears that I'm awake, and he starts bashing on the glass door, and what I do is, because I'm a adorable guy, I always paint a little, in the condensation, I draw a little tie on him. Or I give him a voice bubble and then say, oh, I love Dad, or something. Like I do this little game and he laughs. Anyway, so I step out and I go, good morning, Hank. And he slapped my cock and he ran off.
Why is that illegal?
Well, you're a child touching your cock, right? Now, I know, I didn't ask him to touch my cock, but also, is it illegal because I laughed? And then told you. You know what I mean?
My kids point at my dick and laugh.
Yeah.
The 3-year-old's like, look at you penis. Ah! She thinks it's hilarious and runs off.
They're right, though. Penises are humorous.
Sure. Vaginas are humorous, too. Both of them.
My son now is at the stage where loves holding his cock. Just holding it.
And found out about it.
Pinches it at the end because it's only he's got. I don't know. I haven't got a lot of baby cocks to reference it against. I think my son has a small cock, but I think it grows all right. I think he has a nice erection, but I think he has a very.
He has erections at 16 months.
They have erections from day one.
Wow.
Like sometimes you wake him up in the morning, you'll take his nappy off because he's got a shit in there, and it'll be a shit covered erection.
Uh-oh, that's a weird connection.
And a good name for a band.
It's probably already taken. There's probably a website.
But it is, yeah, he gets like a little tiny Woody. And I always think, what is going on in his head where he is wanted or needed an erection? What was the dream that he had last night? I know the dreams that I'm having when I wake up with an erection. What are the ones that are, like, is that, that cat saying suggestive things off the iPad? What is...
It's probably just blood in his dick.
It's probably just blood in his dick, or it's longing for something that he, I don't know.
You ever get boners when you're driving for no apparent reason? You're not even horny?
I have, yes, I have.
Those are weird. Those are
then
like
sometimes
blood
you go to
up
have
in your dick boners.
Sometimes you go to have sex and you got to fucking work it a bit to get it going. And then like other times, you ever done that one where you masturbate in the car while you're driving, because you've been stuck in traffic? And then I was all right with it in Britain, but too many people in this town drive SUVs.
Mm-hmm.
I drive a Challenger. I'm lower down. I get seen by a lot of people.
Gotta get the
You got to
tinted
get tinted windows. It's important.
Or I could just stop wanking in my car.
Or just get one of those things that women use when they breastfeed in public and just jerk off under that.
Yeah, get a quilt.
Yeah,
Get
well,
a
I found out the best thing to do is to plug my phone into the iPod connection and then play porn on it, because then I'll get with subwoofer and everything surround sound porn in my car.
That's a good move. So do you like hold it with one hand and steer with like the last three
I
fingers?
normally have to be in traffic, so I'm not doing that much steering.
How often are you beating off in your car?
Since I've lived in LA the last 5 years,
Yeah.
I know of 3 times this has happened. It's not like I'm not going to do it like right now.
It's not
This
like a
is
hobby.
This is like I've just been somewhere. There's some girls got me going. I'm in a bit of a frenzy, or I've just had a fight with my girlfriend. I'm in a bit of a bad mood and I need to cheer myself up.
I only beat off once in my car ever. And it was when I was driving limos. I was driving home from a gig. I had to drop some lady off in New Hampshire, drive way the fuck up to New Hampshire. It was a long ride back, like an hour and a half back. I got bored, so I beat off. And I remember the fucking massive feeling of disappointment in myself that I jerked off because I'm jerking off underneath my shirt. As soon as I came, I was like, God damn it, this is going to be a thing I do all the time now. And I never did it again. I was shocked.
Good for the restraint.
But it never came up. I never wanted to do it again. But I'm shocked because I figured I'm such a fucking idiot. Once I do something embarrassing like that, I'm like, well, this is something I do now. This is not going to be, I'm not going to like.
I remember once having sex with a girl and she was just yelling at "fuck me, daddy, fuck me," right? And I kind of went, "Hey, what are you calling me dad like this for?" And then I slightly enjoyed her saying it, and I went, I don't need that to be a thing.
Yeah.
Don't make that a thing for me, because then I'm fucked up and I got to ask other people to do it, and then we're in a real fucking predicament.
When I was in Boston, I used to bang this really crazy Portuguese chick. She used to call her pussy a cunt. It was the first girl I'd ever heard say that. She's like, "Fuck that cunt, fuck that." She was like angry about it. I was like, I hope I don't start liking this.
Yeah.
That's gonna be hard to get someone else to agree to.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of gals.
Yeah, it's hard when you've got a thing and you've got to ask your girl to do that thing. I for a while there, I loved choking girls while I was fucking them for a while. I'm not as choky as I used to be, but I used to be very fucking hand around the neck, pin you down while I was fucking you, right? And some girls, and because I was dating a girl who got off on doing that, right? And that's what got me into it. This was how I made this. And then you meet the girls who don't want you to do that. But then I met one girl who I was choking her, and then I'm not choking the whole time, right? And then I've stopped, and she's thought, oh, this is what we're doing, is it? She starts choking me, and I'm like, don't do that. That feels horrible. I don't know how bad it feels for you women, but it really hurts my male neck.
The choking thing it's weird. It's just like one of those other things where some people love it and some people hate it, and you never fucking know until it comes up. You know, you could date a girl and have no idea she likes to be choked. Like the first girl that I ever dated that liked to be choked was so girly.
Yeah.
She was like so like you would never. She wasn't loud. She always wore dresses. She wasn't like boisterous or
slutty
provocative or slutty. She's a regular girl, and she fucking loved it. She asked me to choke her, and I was like, "What do you mean choke you? Like how do you mean choke you?" She goes, "Just grab my neck while you're fucking me." I'm like, "Okay." Hard? You want me to hurt you? Like, what's going on here? Like, and then if you thought about doing it to another girl, they would freak out. Like, it's weird what like one person, what's their big turn on, and another person.
It's sometimes bad when you bring the choke into a girl who doesn't want it.
Yeah. It's always bad.
You're
I was with a girl that had an iron deficiency, and every time she would want me to choke her, the next day she would just have like these horrible bruises around her neck, and she just would have to like wear like turtlecks and stuff. But it looked like if I ever got in trouble, oh, I'm fucked. You know?
I just got diagnosed as an anemic, which
really,
which isn't pleasant.
Do you eat a lot of red meat?
I do, yeah.
Do you ever take iron supplements?
I'm going to start on iron supplements. I've never taken them before. Yeah. Well, I only got diagnosed like 3 days ago. I'm actually going to the doctor again in 30 minutes for the second check on this.
You still smoke cigarettes. That probably has a factor in it too.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, cigarettes. I think that's one of the symptoms. Is that one
what
of the
is
things?
anemic? Yeah, just you don't.
It's
have
low. It's low hemoglobin in your blood. They did a blood test. It's the hemoglobin.
Yeah, hemoglobin.
Oxygen.
Yeah, I'm not hugely anemic.
Yeah,
there's
a link.
I'm a little bit, a little bit anemic.
There's a PubMed study on it, the effects of cigarette smoking on hemoglobin levels and anemia screening.
Yeah,
It seems to cause a generalized upward shift of the hemoglobin distribution curve, which reduces the utility of the hemoglobin level to detect anemia. So your body doesn't detect anemia, so it doesn't compensate as much.
Also, I'm a super pale guy, and that's when you see super pale people. There's often they're anemic.
I think I'm anemic.
It's probably fucking cigarettes, man.
No, but it's
Both
not
of you
just that. It's
fuckheads.
just I was just born like I'm pale from a pale family. We're just pale. It's like but one of the things I hate about being pale is it seems like one of the few things in society about a way a human being looks that people in society can just pass fucking judgment.
Yeah.
And like not act like they're being cunts.
Yeah, they can make fun of you.
Yeah, if you see someone with a big nose and you go, "Fuck, you got a big nose," people go, "Whoa, ease up, will ya?" But you go, I'll have people who are actors on my fucking show who I'm employing who want to be in more fucking episodes. Go, "Fuck, you're pale, man. Fuck you."
That's why you need
Do you get offended by that for real?
No,
Or
I
you
don't.
just finding a reason to say fuck you?
No, I do get offended by it in the sense that it doesn't bother me personally that I'm pale.
Right.
It bothers me when people bring it up. I don't mind looking pale. I even dislike. I did a photo shoot once for some headshots, and the lady fucking put bronzer all over me. And that whole photo shoot's ruined because I look too brown and it doesn't suit me.
You can't let them fuck with you with the makeup.
And
go tanning.
What is that?
Tanning. Yeah, that's what
Is
you
that
gotta
you?
do. Yeah.
Yeah,
You took a selfie in a tanning booth?
I did the gayest selfie ever. Look.
It's not the gayest. You don't have a cock in your mouth or your ass.
No, it's in my hand.
Still not gay enough.
I tried my whole life to sunbake and to tan and to get darker all through high school when it did affect me, when I did not like the way I looked or wasn't at ease with the way I looked.
Oh, I see. So there's a residual thing when someone's making fun of you, saying you're pale. It used to be a thing.
They used to call me Casper at school and stuff like that. And
You can't do that about black people. Like,
No.
God damn, you're dark. Like, you have to know a guy really
I have
well
a
to pull
theory
that off.
that the whole world wants to be like a coffee color, right? Because all us white people are trying to like get darker, and then the really black people now, it's very common for them bleach their skin, to bleach it down a bit. They don't want to be super black.
Is it really?
Yeah, there was a thing, I was watching it on some Tonight Show, this lady kept on bleaching her kids because she didn't want them to be super, super black. They want to all be Beyonce
brown.
I think is the term. That's a type of paint that you get down at Home Depot. I want some Beyonce brown. So they want to be Beyonce, sort of that Whitney Houston sort of color, and white people want to be darker, and we all want to meet in this one sort of middle range.
Mexican.
Yeah, there's a nutritional supplement that allows people to bleach their skin. It's something that's been really popular in the Philippines. Fuck is the stuff called? There's an actual like nutritional supplement that people take, and they inject it apparently, and it's gained popular in the Philippines for some strange reason.
Well, you even look like the movie stars are always sort of like a more milky black. And then when you have like a girl who is that girl out of Africa, I think she's out of Africa. I think she's British or something, out of 12 Years a Slave.
I didn't see that.
But she got nominated for the Oscar and all that
Heard it's
type
great.
of stuff. Oh, it's great, yeah. And she was amazing in it. But now they were talking about like how liberating or how good it was to see an actual black woman portrayed like, you know, like she had afro-y type of hair, like shaved down, and she wasn't trying to look like a white chick or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
The fashion people were going, we really like this now. I think we're only maybe. See, if I was black, I don't understand women who do the hair. If I was black, I would be afro all day. I would be like Jackson
Why not,
5.
man? It's hot.
I know. Whenever you see a chick with that hairdo, it's always like, fucking look at that foxy chick. It's always a big turn on for me. I love a chick with an afro.
It was big in the 70s. Girls used to have that. Foxy Brown had it, right?
Yeah, when you see like the chick who's like, I'm a member of the Black Panthers, and they got the big fucking afro, you're like, fucking take me down. Beat the white man.
Choke me. Glutathione is it? I couldn't remember it. Glutathione. They take injections of this shit, or they rub it on their skin. I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but maybe both. But glutathione apparently makes your skin lighten.
That's it. That's how you want it. Look at that afro there.
But the problem is that's on her asshole too.
Yeah, she'd have a big hairy
The whole
muff.
thing between the legs.
A
the whole
hairy cunt is the worst thing in the world.
Didn't used to be. Didn't used to be a problem at all. Remember?
There was a girl I fucked in Ireland who was one of the best looking girls I ever fucking laid eyes on, and she was at a gig, and I was like single and young in my 20s, and I made like I'm gonna get that girl, right? And I was gigging in Ireland for 3 days, and I romanced this girl from the moment I met her. I took her out to lunch the next day, and then dinner and the thing, and took her to another show. Invited her friends. I worked her, right? And it's very hard to fuck an Irish chick, and this chick was about 19.
It's hard to fuck an Irish chick?
Yeah, they've all gone to Catholic schools. They all have this cloud of sex is evil over them. They didn't have Playboy until the mid 1990s.
Whoa.
Right? It's a pretty repressed old sexual society, Ireland. Anyway, so I fucking got this girl. She's a little bit like, she wasn't up for it, but I convinced her and said, I'm going to come over to London and hang out with me. And I was like, this is like my girlfriend now. And then, it was like, what was this, like 2004? And like a full-length wild bush. And I had grown up in this era of not really seeing it. I was just, I almost couldn't, I did fuck it, but I almost couldn't. It was so horrific. I still have flashbacks of it. Right now as I'm saying it, I can see it. It was menacing.
Here's the total complete opposite. When I was in high school, I was dating this girl. Like, we would date, we'd go on and off, and,
Yeah.
in the on and off, she was banging this other guy who told her to shave her pussy.
Yeah.
So she came over to my house, and we were about to get in. She's like, I can't take my pants off. And I go, why? She goes, you're going to think I'm a whore. And I go, why? Why am I going to think you're a whore? Like, she goes, because whatever the guy's name is, he talked to me and he shaved my pussy. And I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, what do I care?
You saw it and freaked out?
Well, I didn't care. No, not at all.
Oh,
but
right.
I was, but she was scared that I was going to see her with a shaved pussy. The complete opposite.
It's the only way to go.
But this is like 1980, whatever the hell it was.
I find it weird when there's always women that have a hairy bush when they're having a conversation with you and like, why would men want to have sex with like a shaved pussy? Like, it must be like having sex with like a child. And you're like, that is the weakest argument you could fucking. Then why? Then you should only kiss men with beards. If you kiss a man who shaved his face, what are you kissing a young boy on the street? You fucking pedophile.
Exactly.
Go out with a fucking Muslim cunt with a beard. Where you're happiest, right?
It's actually. Did you know that pederast is someone who actually has sex with children
on a raft?
Pedophile.
Oh.
Pederast.
Right.
Pederaft. That's a good spot for a pedophile.
Yeah.
Pedophile is someone who's attracted. Pederast is someone who has sex with them.
Oh, but not attracted.
Yeah, they just do it because it's fun. That's a very good analogy, though. The beard analogy and the bush analogy. Some people just don't want to do anything that like is society standard. Like a woman doesn't want to have to agree. Like, why should I shave my pussy? Why should I have to? Like, some women that are like that. Like, what? Because it's in porn? Is that what it is? Because that's what it is. It's porn has won.
It
completely.
might be because it's in porn, but it's also because once a man's used one of those shaven ones, it's a lot more enjoyable than the coarseness of the. I remember fucking hairy pussies and having my cock all beaten up afterwards, like it's been fucking ripped through a Brillo pad.
The last one I had, which is way back in the 90s, the last girl with a crazy wild bush. It's like my dick got all rubbed raw. It was horrible. It was like fucking a Brillo pad.
It shouldn't be a fucking like Darwin. I'm sure he could explain it why we have hairy nuts and balls and stuff, but pubic hair should die out. They reckon crabs is dying out because of the shaven pussy, that it's on the decline because it can't be passed so easily.
But, it's on the rise in hipster beards. Yeah. Crabs are that's where they live now. They just jump from one Pabst Blue Ribbon can to the next.
Is this true?
No.
That would be cool, though.
Jesus Christ.
I hate how hipsters now call themselves nerds.
They do?
Yeah, it's like even like, okay, so I'm doing the Nerdist podcast soon. I like those guys. Chris Hardwick's a nice bloke.
He's a nice guy.
Not a nerd.
No, he's a handsome guy with very good structure.
Handsome guy with like a model girlfriend. No. Being interested in Star Wars does not make you a fucking nerd. having hobbies isn't what a nerd is.
Yeah, with your symmetrical face.
Yeah, you know what a nerd is? A nerd is a person who can't hold down a conversation and can't look a woman in the eye. That's a fucking nerd, man.
Yeah, yeah.
You're just
Napoleon Dynamite.
Napoleon Dynamite is a nerd. Even the guys off the Big Bang Theory, they're real nerds. But
Right.
there's now this like girls wearing t-shirts going, "I heart nerds." Really, a guy with a fucking club foot and flaky skin around his face. Is this who you heart? Is it?
Guy with food stuck in his braces.
Yeah.
Perpetually.
Yeah, who is a little bit autistic, and that's why he's good at school, but not at everything else.
Yeah, you like that.
Yeah, that's what you like.
How dare you?
No, you like wearing a fucking backpack that looks like Elmo. That's what you enjoy, darling.
You like Hello Kitty stickers on your iPhone.
Yeah.
You like nerds.
Yeah, and then like you'll see like a girl that will be like, "I'm a nerd," and she's wearing perfect pigtails and glasses
And giant fake tits.
Yeah, and I'm like, "You're a fucking a fuck machine. That's what you are." You're a cum depository. That's hardly a nerd. I remember not wanting to fuck nerds because they were nerds. Why all of a sudden has the nerd culture become so fuckable?
Well, I think people are just always trying to be a part of a fucking group, whether it's be hipsters, be nerds, be whatever.
I was a loner in school. I didn't have many friends, but I wouldn't classify myself as a nerd.
How come you didn't have friends?
I had problems making friends, and the main problem I have now that I when I look back on it, okay, I wasn't good at sport, bit of a dick as well.
No way.
Yeah, a little bit.
Get the fuck out of here.
Probably talked a little bit too much when I should have shut up, you know. May have been irritating, but I think my main problem was because I found it very easy to make friends after school. Once I got out of school, I found it very easy to make friends. In university, I made friends very easily. And my mother was a school teacher at my school.
Oh, fucking Christ.
Not just any school teacher, the 300-pound school teacher that yelled at everybody that walked around with a cane.
Oh, so you got it at school and at home.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
So,
school must have been fucking torture.
School was not a fun time
Oh,
for
my
me.
God.
But I remember when I went to university, like actually enjoying this whole, wow, we're all this fucking, and like girls liking me and shit. I'm like, this is what it's like when your mother isn't within 5 feet of you all the time.
Oh, yeah. That's a big difference, though. That's a terrible situation.
Terrible.
You got your mother who's telling your older brother to kick your fucking ass, and then you get to school, and she's the one who yells at everybody. And then all your friends know that your mom is the cunty teacher that yells at everybody.
Yeah, so none of your friends, I had a couple of friends at school, but they never wanted to come over to the house. You know what I mean? Like it was a very hard sell. Why don't you come into my house? Nah, let's not.
Let's just go to the woods. Let's go hang out with the wallabies.
Let's go hang out in the bush.
You have a foot fetish?
Huh? Do I have a foot fetish?
Yeah.
No.
I was just wondering if you had any like mom type sexual.
Mom's not a foot fetish.
A lot of foot fetish people have mom.
Really?
Things. Yeah, because they're.
Did you research this?
Yeah, because as a young kid, you always see your mom. You see your mom's feet.
Yeah, but I disliked my mother.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I say. If you had some weird.
She's all right. She's all right now. I find I get a lot more. I like my mother more now that I've had a child because she has proven herself to be a good grandmother. But she was fucking hard work, man. I used to say to her, I said, why did you make me go to the same school that you were teaching at? It was the most nearby school. And she goes, well, I was there first. I'm like, are you competing with your fucking kids? Go teach at the school over the road. There was an all-girls school just down the street. I don't care if you teach with a school within half a mile of where I am.
Well, I was there first.
Yeah, I was there first.
Terrible.
But she just liked to keep an eye on us constantly. She's very dominating childhood. Very.
Well, look how you turned out. You flung the other way.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
I mean, what we were talking about you having a hard time shutting up in school and being a bit of a dick, all those things are perfect for being a comedian.
Yeah.
The comedian, a bit of a dick and talks a little too much, that's the guy who's going to say the funny shit first.
Yeah.
Right?
And you know what's weird now is I go back to Sydney and all the guys I went to school with they probably didn't think they were bullying me, but who I felt bullied by for whatever reason, they all come as a group to my shows. And they're like, come and meet me backstage, and they say how happy they are. And I hold no grudge. They're good guys, you know what I mean? But they weren't my mates at school. I don't remember them
I think kids bully at school for the same reason.
Survival.
Yeah, well, it's a natural instinct, and they get shitty parenting. I think that's a lot of where it comes from.
Yeah.
They get bullied at home. It becomes a natural part of how you behave. You get bullied by your brothers. You get bullied by your dad. You get bullied by your uncles. And then the first opportunity you get to shit on somebody, you do. It's a lot of it is kids that grow up associating other people with competition and abuse, and they just associate it in a negative way.
It was the bit I found hardest about the whole thing was, fuck the guys. I just wanted chicks to like me.
Well, that's why you got into comedy, right?
Yeah, well, I got into comedy, but also I actually did pretty good with girls in high school. I look back on it now, photos of me, 16, 17, I was a good-looking kid. I didn't think it at the time, but I look back on it like I wasn't bad looking at that age.
I did good in high school, but then after high school, I went through a fucking terrible drought that didn't go away until I became a comic.
Oh no, I did. My best years were high school and university.
Really?
But I was getting attracted. There was never a girl at my school. It was always I had to go see other schools, find out where their parties were happening to get laid.
Oh, so girls that knew you was a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. If you'd spent more than 10 minutes with me, you weren't fucking with me. But if I could meet you at a party where the music was too loud that I couldn't bore you with conversation, there was a good chance I'd have sex with you.
I didn't get laid at all in college. And the reason being is I took a year off after high school and then went to UMass Boston, which was like a commuting high school. It was not a high school or not a college rather, commuting college. It wasn't a college where you would go and stay there. You would live somewhere else, and then you would go and take your classes there. So everybody was like working, and I was a loser. I didn't have anything going on. I was a martial arts champion, but I was poor, and I was teaching martial arts, and I was trying. The only reason why I was going to school at all was so that people didn't think I was an idiot.
I studied musical theatre.
Did you?
Yeah.
So you got to bang actresses.
It was the best. It was they only took 20 kids a year into the course. 3,000 people auditioned.
Whoa.
Right? It was like a very prestigious thing. It was the same course that Hugh Jackman did. Oh. And there was an acting people. I couldn't act good enough, so I could sing a bit, so I got in the musical theatre thing.
You sing?
And I could back in the day. Yeah.
Do you sing now?
No.
Do you ever think about putting out a soundtrack to Legit?
I'll tell you something about me you might not know. There's a little fact about me. I sang twice in the Australian Opera in the chorus.
Really?
As an employed opera singer, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
give us a little taste.
I've had vocal nodules. I've had surgery on my voice. I can't. It's over. I'm not making up though. I sang in Charles Gounod's Romeo and Juliet and Wagner's The Flying Dutchman as chorus.
What are vocal nodules?
Polyps on your vocal cords, basically calluses from smoking, coke, yelling. It's mostly from yelling, from them bashing together. Wow. They get calluses, so you can't actually get your vocal cords close enough together to make high sounds because there's always a gap in them from these little things.
So it makes you a man.
It's like noodles.
Yeah.
Makes you a fucking man is what it is.
Yeah, well, I guess.
Is that a chorus?
Yeah.
That's where John Wayne's voice came from.
Exactly.
Right?
It's like these gristled comedians who have yelled on stage all the time. It's because they're just covered like you know what else is bad with it? Like these
Ron White.
Bobby Slayton is
yeah.
polyped up. I'm telling you, that guy's vocal cords are just nodule on nodule, I'm telling you.
He might have had vocal surgery, I might be wrong. But I've heard of comedians that have had that before. It's more than one.
Well, I had this before I was a comedian to try to save the singing career.
So you had surgery on the polyps.
Yeah.
So they shaved down the calluses.
Yeah, couldn't talk for 2 months.
Oh my God, 2 months.
Yeah, just writing on a fucking pad.
Oh,
and that was when I thought, this job, I'm going to get these back because I party too much. And then I thought, I've got no other skills. I got no other skills in the fucking world. And I decided, I always wanted to be a comedian, but it was a job that my parents would never let me do.
They wouldn't let you do.
They said it wasn't. My parents were happy with the musical theatre because they saw my mother could brag and act like it was a bit more la-di-da than the whole thing. But I decided I was going to be a comedian in that 2 months where I couldn't talk.
Wow.
And it was like a secret that I had to myself. Like,
that's fucking awesome.
And I was like checking out like where the open mics were and how I was meant to do this. I started watching a lot of stand-up videos and that's what I did, living by myself, not talking for a couple of months.
That's fucking awesome.
And what was I talking about before? With the great thing about the course though, so 10 boys, 10 girls. And there was two years above us, so there's 3 years. So there was like 90 people in the whole sort of department. Half, 80% of the men were gay, right, in the course that study musical theatre. So we had 8 gay guys and 2 heterosexuals. All the women were fucking hot as fuck. Were like been dancing since they were a kid and just singing and fucking they were just we were all like 20. It was the best thing ever. It was the reasonable looking fucking heterosexual guy. It was fantastic. Now one of the main girls in the course was a girl called Chantel Barry, and Chantel was the one that we were all like, she's going to be a star. She was stunning. You can look her up on the net. She was fucking stunning. She could sing better than everyone else. She had everything, this girl, right? And then they brought out the first version of like Pop Idol or American Idol or whatever. It was done in Australia first. It was called Making the Band or whatever.
Really?
The show was actually originated in New Zealand, but then in Australia they made this girl band called Bardo, where all the people came in and auditioned to be in this girl band. And the girl that I was at university, she went to this audition for this TV show. She got in the band, but they played it over weeks and weeks and weeks. They had cameras in the house. It was the first big reality show ever, where we were watching these people just living in a house, and people couldn't fathom whether there's no actors. This is real. It was like there she is there. Ooh. Yeah. Anyway, so I used to stand behind her stretching in dance class and just all I wanted was to have sex with this young lady. Never happened, right? So anyway, so she gets in this band. And she steals, the story goes, she steals, I don't know, $10 or $20 out of one of the other girls who were in the band's bag. And she gets caught because there's fucking cameras everywhere. So she's got this big opportunity. Everyone else who was in this band has gone on to big things, like Sophie Monk, who's the model out here, who dated Ryan Seacrest for a while. She was one of the other girls in the band and now does big modeling and is in movies and shit, right? So Chantel gets kicked out of the fucking band, right? Over. Right, so she moves over. She's bad press in Australia. They're all really slagging her off and all that type of stuff. She was sort of our friend, and she moved over to LA. And I remember like looking at her MySpace page, like, wow, she's made it in LA. She was backup singing for Lionel Richie or something, right? Like, everything worked out for her, right? Cut to first season of Legit. We need a girl in a scene that is just hot girl number 2, right? She comes into the audition, and I went, fucking hell, Chantel Barry. She didn't recognize me or remember me at all. And I said, where's your accent from? And then I started saying the suburb she was from. You're from about this, and you have 2 older sisters? Yeah, you look like someone who has 2 older sisters. Because I used to party at her house. So this girl, and I go, you got a butterfly tattoo just above your ass, just off the... And she goes, yeah. And I went, we went to university together. All right, and then she went, oh, did we? And then I went, all right, give her the part. Right, because I'm a good guy. The part had like one line, and then she came on set, and I think in that moment, this is how much of an arsehole I must be, she remembered who I was from school.
When she came on set,
when she came on set, she was like, because Jim Jefferies, my real last name is Nugent. I use my middle name as a stage name.
Is it because of Ted?
No, Jim Jefferies sounded better than Jim Nugent. Jim Jeffrey, you know what I mean? It was just... It was a little tiny thing to alliteration, you know?
Right.
And so I wasn't going by my original name, so she had no reason to. And then I sort of reminded her, I said, we used to come over and your mum used to make this type of food and blah, 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 blah. I think she was so pissed off that I made it and she didn't, that I had my own TV show, that she went up to the producer and went, I've got food poisoning, I need to go home, and just walked off the set.
What?
Didn't even do the job.
Maybe she just got a little squirt. Maybe she had to leave.
Hold on.
No.
Wait. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Didn't take the gig, man.
So what makes you think that it's because of that?
I just think people get fucking jealous, man. We all get jealous. I think she just was like, fuck this cunt. Because I was the guy at university that you thought wouldn't make it. All the other gay guys had abs and all that type of stuff, and I was like a bit of a doughy fucking marshmallow-looking cunt who could sing a little bit, who couldn't dance at all, and was pretty average. They always kicked out like 5 people a year from the course, like you're not good enough. I left after I got the nodules, and I knew I was going to get kicked out anyway. That was already right on the cards. I walked before I jumped before I was pushed.
That competitive thing of show business is one of the weirdest aspects of it.
Yeah.
And sometimes even in relationships, I had a friend who got something and his girlfriend started crying. Well, he got some part in some TV show and his girlfriend started crying because she was like, when is something going to happen for me? Like that was her immediate reaction.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, wow. Like,
Got to get rid of that bird.
Yeah,
Here's something that's about to happen to you. Homeless.
Yeah, that's very unattractive, that competitive thing.
Yeah, you can't help it. A little bit with comedy, it's very hard to never have it with any other stand-up comic. There's always going to be one where you go, that guy. But I've found out now, and I think it's easier because I got a bit of success, but I don't give a shit I just worry about me. I don't give a fuck if someone's got a movie or something. I don't give a fuck. I just worry about me. And then you know the good guys, you know the bad guys, and that's it. But when in the early days, it was more. I got more jealous at how's that guy in at that club? I've been trying to get into that club forever.
That's just the frustration of not having made it yet. And then once you have and you got some success, it goes away, and then you can actually enjoy it for what it is.
But I think there's successful people who are still fucking don't want any other cunt to have anything.
Yeah, there are. Well, there's a lot of successful people also that only work with terrible comedians so that they shine. Have you ever seen like a really good guy who brings like the fucking worst guys ever on the road to open for him?
Yeah.
Tortures the audience for a half an hour with the worst fucking shit stand-up ever just so they can come in and clean up the show and look like a hero.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it is. They don't want anybody to shine.
That's a very weird...
common.
Yeah.
It's common.
But it's, I always, the saying I like is chase the dream, not the competition.
It's a good saying.
You know what I mean? Because if you're worried about the competition, you'll always feel... It's like people who get angry at fucking Aziz Ansari. Like, oh, that fucking... You know what I mean?
Who gets angry at that guy?
There's been plenty of comics who don't think he deserves... whatever.
What does that mean, though? What does deserve? Who deserves anything?
This is my thing. Well, whether you like him or not, you're not a little tiny Indian bloke who's a little bit hip-hop. So at least the guy's unique. He's not stepping on your fucking toes. I've never met another cunt like him in the comedy community.
It's that zero-sum thing that people have, this idea that there's a finite amount of gigs, there's a finite amount of audience members, and if Jim Jefferies becomes big, and that takes away from me.
I've had people accuse me of being like a foreigner coming over taking American jobs.
That's hilarious. Who did that?
I've had a few of them.
A comic?
Yeah.
Who?
I'm
name
not
names.
gonna
Fuck
name
them.
Names. No,
name names.
They're not people you'd know anyway.
Who cares? Name them so we don't ever know them.
It's all right. There was a radio station in Tampa that got into me about that.
Oh my God, that's so stupid.
Said that I'd come over and fucking America had made me famous and blah, blah. And I said, look, I give back to America, man. I said, my show employs over 100 people. And I've written it, I produce it.
This is a recent thing this happened?
Yeah. And I said, my TV show employs over 100 different people in different jobs, right? And then he went, well, if you didn't do it, then an American would do it. And you're like, it doesn't matter, mate. I did it.
That's not true.
I did it. Doesn't matter.
But that's not true. That idea is not true. The idea that if you didn't make that show, someone else would make that show.
There'd be another show in its place or something. I don't know.
Who the fuck knows what it would be? It might not employ as many people. It might not be a drama. It might be a reality show that employs very few people and works non-union. You know, that attitude is so stupid.
Right. It's also the whole... immigrant thing that you get, and I got it in the UK as well, is, well, we're all fucking immigrants.
Exactly.
Everyone
the United States is 100% immigrants.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Immigrants or the children of immigrants.
Yeah.
That's how this was made, unless you're Native American.
And they say 80% of all businesses in America now are either from immigrants or the sons and daughters, first-generation immigrants.
Even if you're a Native American, that means you came over on the Bering Strait. Your great-great-great-great-grandfather walked here from fucking Asia. I mean,
is that what happened? I've never knew. That's very fascinating.
Native American, I mean, unless you're talking about Native Americans they have their DNA combined, like Mexicans, is a lot of Native Americans that had sex with Spaniards.
Yeah.
Like way back in the day. But when they do the DNA chart of Native Americans, one of the things they found when they were researching, there was a guy who was a Mormon, a hardcore Mormon, and he's a really rich guy, and he wanted to prove that Joseph Smith was correct and everything that he said in the Bible was true, and that the Native Americans were the lost tribe of Israel. So he mapped out the genome of the Native Americans. It turns out they're from Siberia. So they came down. They walked when it was a solid landmass.
They've got Siberia. Is that near Mongolia?
No. Well, Siberia is Russia.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
in Russia.
It's
It's sort of near it in the fact that the Mongols actually invaded. They invaded Russia. And so
I'm no good with geography. I've traveled the fucking world and I don't know anything.
Well, it's all in the same. I mean, you wouldn't want to walk there, but I mean, it's all in the same landmass.
It's all snow.
It's all suck.
Yeah,
Siberia sucks.
Shoveling their fucking driveways.
But they're happy as shit.
Wearing their tennis. Well, they reckon the happiest place on earth is Denmark or something, and it's like highest tax bracket. And you know why? It's because the most content people, maybe not the happiest, most content people on earth are in Denmark, because it gets fucking dark at 3, and there's you don't even dream about being a famous movie star or a musician. There's no entertainment business that comes out of it. You have to keep your dreams at a nice low level in Denmark. So you never get crushed by the world. The world you never have a girlfriend going, when's it going to happen for me? All you have is people sitting around Denmark going, oh, well, on Saturday we're going to have a drink, aren't we? So I'll see Hans. That'll be fun. That's as much as your dreams get to. Saturday, having a beer with your buddy. You never get ahead of yourself.
There's a Werner Herzog documentary on Siberia called Happy People, Life in the Taiga. It's about all these people that live up there, virtually no mental illness, a lot of fucking really content, happy people. All they do is fish and trap and hunt. That's all they do. That's all they do. They trade like skins and meat and fish for, fucking chainsaw blades.
Because that's the thing is, when you go fishing, there's very few people that can fuck you over in your day.
That's true.
You go work in an office, you're getting fucked over by people who are smiling at you.
Well, you're also dealing with unbelievably unnatural behavior. Sitting in a box, the same box every day, 8 hours a day plus, and commuting. And all day you're sitting, and there's no physical movement at all. There's nothing explosive going on with your body, no use of your senses, no fight or flight.
But it's also that it's like the bullying thing that you see. You see these people who were, when you first walk into CA, were assistants, and they sat in that front thing, and they'd always have a jar of M&Ms, and they'd be like, hey, Jim, great to see you. Oh, here's some M&Ms, here's some water. Like the happiest person in the world. I'm getting ahead in the world. Oh. And then they have that cunt that sat behind them that used to just call them a piece of shit because they got their coffee order wrong, right? And then they'd go home and cry even though they smiled to you because it was part of their job. And then the second that they get to move into that back little room and they get a person up there, they're fucking telling that person they're a cunt. They can't get coffee to save their life.
Do you remember that
movie?
movie?
The circle of life never ends.
The Kevin Spacey movie?
Which one?
The Kevin Spacey movie where he's like the worst fucking employee ever or the employer ever. He's like an agent. And he hires some guy, and they wind up kidnapping him. What was that movie? Kevin Spacey. Fucking shit, I can't remember that movie. Kevin Spacey. Agent movie. Yeah, he's a fucking complete nightmare.
I got to get going. I got to get to the doctors, guys.
Oh.
Is that a problem?
No.
It's
never a problem.
We've done 2.5 hours.
There's a fucking... I just want to tell people what this fucking movie is, God damn it.
Horrible Bosses.
That's not the movie. That's another movie that he made that was based around the original first movie. Find it, Jamie. Find it before we wrap this.
I thought you were about to go.
That's your assignment.
Finding Nemo.
No, that's not it. That's not it.
Wasn't there a movie called Kangaroo Jack or something?
Yeah, there was definitely that.
There's Kangaroo Jack too.
My girlfriend at the moment can't leave the house because we live just
What
off...
is it, Jamie? Say it. Swimming with Sharks. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, that's fucking great. That's a great movie where you see what kind of a terrible environment that agent environment is. It's the worst, man.
Oh, it's the one where he swears. I've seen the speech out of it.
Tortures this young kid that works for him. I used to have a girl that I dated that worked for an agent. She'd wake up in the middle of the night freaking out, like that she forgot to do something. In the middle of the night, And he was brutal. He was just...
Well, that's like... Every occupation must have that where you wake up in the middle of the night going, oh, I forgot to... shit.
Yeah, but it's a 24-hour job.
But what about like the bloke who puts bolts on engines for GM?
Well, obviously there's inspectors that handle that along with them.
Yeah, but it just takes a couple of people that have a bad day simultaneously.
Yeah. This girl, though, this gig of being an assistant to an agent was literally all day. Like, he would call her up in the middle of the night. I need eggs. I don't have any eggs. Go get me some eggs. Bring them to my house. Like, she would have laundry she'd have to pick up. Like, it was all day, every day. She made shit money, barely could survive, and it was all day on call.
If you're watching this live, don't go to Laurel Canyon right now.
Why's that?
My girlfriend has to. I live in Mount Olympus. My girlfriend has to walk up the fucking hill and park the car down the bottom end of the road, which is like a mile up the hill.
Something's going on.
There's a cop being shot.
Whoa.
In Laurel Canyon, and the guy's barricaded himself in his house. It was a domestic thing, and there's a standoff.
Oh, I heard about that this morning. That's still going on?
Well, she just texted me, don't drive down this way because she's walking up the hill.
Fuck. All right, folks. Watch Jim Jefferies' show, Legit. It's on FFX. FXX. What is
Two
it?
X's. We're one X away from a sex parody.
What happened there? Why did it go from FX to FXX?
No, well,
More comedy?
they've got a new channel and they had to move somewhere. So us, Sonny in Philadelphia and the league all moved over. And they've got
G's
some,
back.
Ali G's on after our show.
That's beautiful. How is it? I heard the Ali G one is a lot of his old stuff, too, that was that aired in England.
It's all the stuff that aired in England that never aired over here.
That's the whole show?
With different intros and stuff like that.
Oh, beautiful.
It's repackaged to that one, but that's on after me. Don't worry about that.
Don't worry about that. Worry about Legit. What time is Legit? When should they watch it?
Legit's at 10, unless you have DirecTV, which means it goes forward to 7 because you get the West Coast feed. But yeah, it's 10 o'clock East Coast. It's 10 o'clock East Coast.
Do you enjoy working for FXX?
Love it.
All good?
Yeah, it's
beautiful.
all good. It's
Beautiful.
all good.
Beautiful. All right, Legit. Watch it. You don't have a podcast anymore. Stop doing that.
No, I do not have a podcast at the present moment. I'm on tour at the moment. If you're watching, I'm doing this Saturday. I will be at Club Nokia in LA, and I'm somewhere in San Francisco this Friday.
You don't even know?
I think they're both sold out, but just check anyway.
Go check, you fucks.
I tried to go to your
Jefferies,
website.
Hilarious fucking stand-up comic.
There you are. Yeah, I'm on tour there. People listen to this in Australia. Very popular in Australia. I will be touring the entire month of April across Australia, all major cities for the whole month.
Glorious, ladies and gentlemen. Jim Jefferies. Thanks, brother. That was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks to our sponsor. Go to squarespace.com and use the code word Joe. That's it, right? Is that what it is?
And Squarespace, yeah.
Wait a minute. Is that it?
Yeah.
Squarespace.com, code word Joe. Yeah, use the code word Joe. Save yourself 10%. And thanks also to onit.com. Use the code word Rogan. Save 10% off any and all supplements. We will be back, ladies and gentlemen. We got a lot of podcasts this week. Much love.